Qilin ensnaring heaven array. A giant golden qilin swallowed the entire bright moon longevity palace in one gulp. Su Xing's head hurt, sensing that a beauty had fallen into the star nest. Hardly with any thought, Su Xing's figure moved, his whole body clad in golden wind. The golden light receded. Strength star Lu Yuyu towered over everyone present, her golden qilin lance's tyrannical air austere, and Lin Yingmei, Hun Yangzi, Yanizhen, and the other girls had been repelled by the qilin ensnaring heaven. "Oh, you little sisters truly are very determined." Lu Yuyu carried slight praise. Under her earth rank technique, for them to unexpectedly to still be able to withstand, it was no wonder that Lu Yuyu had a new level of respect for them. The only one to fall into the star nest was Gongsun Huang. Because the little Loi had used 3 dark techniques on ancestor longevity. Now using a 4th was her limit, so she was unavoidably defeated in one strike by the earth rank. This is much more interesting. Lu Yuyu nodded. How could Lin Yingmei and the others bother speaking with her any further? The next moment, they launched a blitzkrieg. Yanizhen's swallow flash samsara directly struck the ground. Her fists waved, punches of yin and yang exploding on Lu Yuyu's body. Jade Qilin took a step back, withstanding the assault. The strength star's innate skill all-rounder was enough to make her possess superior abilities against any opponent. In her step back, the bright star's light smoke dance step circled around behind Lu Yuyu, her double sabers already biting closely behind. The ice-cold saber light obstructed her path. Lu Yuyu smiled. She spun around to face 10 feet of Blue's attack. Golden and blue saber wind continuously slashed and intersected, in the end producing a transparent rain of torn air, firmly sealing all lines of movement for Lu Yuyu, bringing a shrill whistle as she pounced at her prey. Like a dancing magpie. Fleeting amazement flashed past Lu Yuyu's eyes. Her face was heavy as water. An attack of this degree was completely harmless in her eyes. Conveniently afterwards, the strength star scuttled into the saber wind. The golden lion beast's charge directly crushed and scattered this attack. Then she disappeared in a flash. Lu Yuyu unimaginably vanished right before Hunyangzi's eyes. Even with 10 feet of Blue's absolutely clear eyesight, she surprisingly could not perceive her, so quick was her speed. Suddenly, the golden qilin lance instantly drew a brilliant light in front of her, and an intense spear wind unexpectedly rolled in her surroundings. The next moment, Lu Yuyu already appeared right under Hunyangzi's nose. The swiftness of her speed practically was teleportation. A true Phoenix Realm martial general, Hunyangzi was completely unable to keep up with the strength star's battle rhythm. Hunyangzi did not retreat but advanced instead, her pace very steady, completely fearless of the overbearing might of the Lu Yuyu in front of her. Instantly the pair were already in contact. Ha! Lu Yuyu curled the corner of her lips. The golden qilin lance flashed, disappearing from Hunyangzi's view. 2 cold lights shot out from between them. How could Hunyangzi withstand this? Golden wind and jade dew were knocked flying, having sustained the strength star's kick. Just as the strength star was about to follow up, Yanizhen's steps at this time already attacked without hesitation. The maid's pace was unflustered, punching following closely after punch. Although her speed was not very fast at all, she could change whatever part of the body she struck with every attack. Simplifying any flashy movements, the attacks she used were all in succession, making Lu Yuyu a bit oppressed. The attacks absolutely did not appear that ordinary or simply. Each punch and kick were heavier than the last, and at some point in time, an astral wind rolled slowly in the surroundings. The yin-yang carp swam about, parrying and grappling, drawing circles as easily as if she was lifting weights, downplaying things. Each of her strikes was smooth and flowing, exceptionally fluid. Lu Yuyu continuously suffered several swallow flash samsaras, but the true Phoenix Realm Lu Yuyu was incredible. How could anyone avoid Little Yi's punches using just ordinary techniques? However, Lu Yuyu flipped backwards, kicking her foot to slam into Yanizhen's left side, putting an end to the fist technique. Then, the golden qilin lance in her hands suddenly hummed. The entire lance became flowing golden light. Lu Yuyu stalled in the air. Her hand raised the lance and stabbed, unexpectedly using her dark rank technique without any charge time at all. Yinmei was completely unable to keep up. Only perceiving a golden light pouncing at her, the skillful star instinctively wanted to sidestep, but Lu Yuyu's switch from defense to offense was fast as lightning. Half a step too late, that beam of light already pierced through Yinmei's chest and flew out her back. Dark rank technique. Golden rhythmic flash. Yinmei vomited blood. The remaining energy of the shuddering golden rhythmic flash of the golden Qilin lance burst out of the skillful star's body. Yinmei was shaken back and just happened to be caught by the Su Xing who had rushed over. Little E. Su Xing was shocked. His forehead twinkled with a vermilion star zest that struck Yinmei's star crest, using his own star energy in order to barely maintain her, not allowing her to fall into the star nest. Moss, Yinmei's indifferent pupils seemed a deathly pale. She wanted to stand, but her feet shook, already unable to continue battle. First Overlord Strength Star Jade Qilin Lu Junyi acted with considerable results. After the Earth rank technique passed, she immediately used her dark technique. She completely had no plans to draw things out in the slightest. Gongsun Huang and Yinmei were defeated in succession. Ha! Lu Yuyu softly chuckled. Her target once again became Hunyangzi. She wanted to get there in one step when at this moment, she heard a shout. Lin Yingmei's spear slayed the golden lion beast and directly faced Lu Yuyu. You shall now face your servant. Lin Yingmei coldly said, her ice-cold spearlight wrapped in intense murderous intent. Lu Yuyu's lance went to meet it with a feeling that held no advantage at all, seemingly even being suppressed. Lu Yuyu's eyes flashed with an odd glint, showing a grave expression towards Lin Yingmei's spear that was hidden in wind. The true Phoenix Strength Star's martial arts were matchlessly high level. Perhaps a first-rate martial general could be a match, but Wu Xinjie, Zhang Yuqi, and the other girls could only sneak attack from the sides. However, their attacks practically had no way to become a threat to Lu Yuyu. Their battle scene was considerably monstrous. Lu Yuyu stalled them all with just the power of one person alone, and her star master had actually continuously stood nearby somewhat absent-mindedly, as if he was completely unconcerned with this life and death battle. Young lord, let us go kill Lu Junyi's star master. Wu Xinjie secretly used sound transmission. Su Xing glanced at the other beauties and surreptitiously nodded. After he handed little E to Ensuan, Su Xing, Zhang Yuqi, Wu Xinjie and Shi Yuan moved to kill Xia Chen. At this moment, he heard a "Lord husband" cry that was full of tender feelings. Su Xing and the rest turned their heads, seeing Wu Xio currently propping her body up with great difficulty. Allow your servant to go help Yingmei. Wu Xio said. You rest for now. Su Xing dearly hugged her. Just now at the 9th palace, Wu Xio had already exhausted everything to the extent of her capabilities against the Strength Star, and her energy was thoroughly depleted. Yes, Xio, Yingmei and Nyangzi have 5-star destined weapons. This Jade Qilin is merely 4-star. Although she is true Phoenix Realm, there is still a chance. Wu Xinjie advised. Wu Xio shook her head. Both of her hands grabbed Su Xing's shoulders, and those serene, starry pupils gazed intently at the man before her. Holding in everything she wanted to say, she kissed him. The two of them kissed passionately, intimately. Wu Xio's cheeks flushed red, and her expression began to become slightly intoxicated, and even Su Xing felt tipsy. This was Wu Xio and Su Xing's Heaven-Earth Dark Yellow skill, do not laugh laying drunk on battlefield. Zhang Yuqi did not know what Wu Xio was doing and peered at her in dumbstruck amazement. However, Wu Xio took several drunken steps yet was unable to bear it. In her current state, she could not possibly use her Heaven-Earth Dark Yellow. Suan, look after them. Su Xing exhorted, tenderly smiling at Wu Xio. Lord husband, be careful. Wu Xio said with deep feelings. N. Wild Bee Butterfly Wave. Zhang Yuqi used a yellow technique. Splashes of water filled the skies and became innumerable butterflies that knocked into Xia Chen. The cultivation of Lu Yuyu's Star Master was also odd. Su Xing, seeing clearly, could not discern its depth. However, even if he was actually transforming Star of Annihilation, Su Xing would not be surprised. Xia Chen finally moved. His finger pointed, and 100 gorgeous flying swords emerged. These flying swords changed constantly, instantly becoming 1,000. Zhang Yuqi's wild bee butterfly wave was easily shredded by the flying swords. Wu Xinjie's 8 gates black gold chain flew out. Nimbly, the yellow technique water is not predictable simultaneously enveloped Xia Chen's surroundings in an inescapable net. However, Xia Chen had a completely aloof intent. Pressure was released that suppressed the 8 gates black gold chains as if it was toppling a mountain. Young lord, be careful. He is perhaps supervoid late stage. Wu Xinjie dripped with cold sweat. Hua Shui launched the white light of dazzling light mind image and fox fire but was also unable to break Xia Chen's defenses. Humph. Xia Chen pointed his hand without any fancy movements. The 1,000 flying swords twisted and intersected back and forth, stabbing Wu Xinjie like a torrential downpour. The 8 gates black gold chain thundered open. A figure flew out at this moment. Astonishingly, it was Su Xing, knowing that his cultivation was too powerful, that brute force would be unable to harm the opponent. Su Xing immediately carried out a close-quarters battle. In his hand was the Vajra evil smiting sword. Xia Chen's forehead wrinkled. He coldly shouted, snapped his fingers in succession, and he fired his swords. Xia Chen's expression was grave, not wanting to be entangled, only thinking of settling the battle quickly. Purple Mansion immortal thunder slammed into these 10 swords. Then, Su Xing controlled heaven tearing, and a golden light pierced through. At the same time, and Suan brandished the 7 stars birth sword and slashed. Xia Chen was somewhat unable to draw breath, having already been cornered by their fierce and consecutive attacks. Although he could rely on his cultivation to resist these attacks, each blow was very risky to ward off. Su Xing's close combat gave him a sort of feeling of danger, and from time to time, when they made eye contact, the indifferent ice cold on his face shook him. Xia Chen was also a trace of true spirit, but he was not foolish. To be able to have so many star maidens following him, the man in front of him definitely had some aspect that was overwhelming. Xia Chen did not know about the majestic star's battle doctrine innate skill, but relying on the first overlord's senses, he still perceived danger. If he slowed a bit, showed the slightest mistake, created a delay in his movements, the man in front of him absolutely had certainty make him suffer greatly. Humph. A cold laugh. Xia Chen retreated several hundred meters, swift as the wind. Both his hands formed hand seals, instantly already adopting an all-or-nothing posture. The next instant, his flying swords shot about Su Xing's surroundings like shooting stars, gradually becoming indistinct, letting out air-ripping shrieks. The battle speed had completely unfolded. Xia Chen had already used a sword chant sword array. The air-ripping sound was increasingly intense, as if it had formed from nothing. Several dozen invisible true vacuum blades suddenly filled Su Xing's surrounding space. These flying swords that were already indistinguishable from real and fake severely slashed, as if treating Su Xing's position as the center of a storm. The air was instantly cut to pieces. A supercluster cultivator would undoubtedly die in a supervoid late-stage flying sword array. Liked it? The corner of Xia Chen's lips rose, pitying his opponent's carelessness. He never thought the trial would be over so quickly, but it seemed that this was indeed the end. However, just when Xia Chen thought he could dispatch Su Xing, suddenly, his smile froze, and his sword array cracked. There was a lion's roar. Su Xing appeared safe and sound, and at this time, there was already a 4 symbols seal magic weapon in his hand. The vermilion bird, azure dragon, and white tiger were summoned by Su Xing without hesitation to destroy the sword array in a suicide attack. The last remaining white tiger's remaining breath finally broke the sword array and pounced on Xia Chen. His eyes were dazzled, and the white tiger bit into Xia Chen. The man struck with his palm, slapping the white tiger's head. This holy beast's true spirit howled, yet it did not let go. Its teeth gripped even more terrifyingly, and Xia Chen's face turned pale. In the end, he called back his flying swords to finally dispatch the white tiger. Weather is not predictable. Wu Xinjie wielded the 8 gates black gold chain. Xia Chen was unable to erect a defense and was tightly bound by the shackles. Xia Chen shouted, and his whole body emitted a spiritual light that rolled mightily. Great wisdom King Cleave. Su Xing flew before Xia Chen and stabbed. The drill-like sword light exploded forth from the sword's tip, engulfing Xia Chen. Is a small trick like this any use? Xia Chen laughed coldly. Other than a tiny pinprick, the great wisdom King Cleave completely was unable to hurt him. Originally, I had even wanted to stay a little longer with your star generals, but since you have sent yourself to me, then do not blame me. Xia Chen interrupted. The 1,000 flying swords spirit lights were simultaneously released, illumination the bright moon longevity palace. As a star master from the first generation, Xia Chen did not have any incredible powers or magic weapons at all, but what he could rely on was unfathomable star energy. Just his flying sword arts were enough to bring enormous pressure. The bright moon longevity palace thus staged 2 frightening battles. On the other side, everyone else was somewhat astonished to see the scene before them. That is Jade Qilin. How is this possible? Queen Lady of Ice saw that there was another strength star Jade Qilin. Her ice-cold beauty was disturbed. Over the course of the events of the battle, Queen Lady of Ice very quickly understood that the things happening before her were very inconceivable. Surprisingly, the first overlord is the Jade Qilin. Queen Lady of Ice was very cold. Liangshan Continent's star duel history had always treated strength star Lu Junyi, majestic star Lin Chong and the harm star as star generals that would never sign a contract in 1,000 years. Ever since the 9th Lin Chong and Wu Song suddenly both followed that one man, she never expected that the Jade Qilin would have long ago signed a star duel covenant in the first generation and became that generation's overlord. However, thinking about it made Queen Lady of Ice relieved. No one at all placed importance on the first star duels. Only after the extraordinary scene of that star duel generation's 7 stars assembly did Liangshan Continent begin to pay attention to the star duels, so the first generation was of interest to no one. Since it was the starting generation of the star duels, the strongest strength star Jade Qilin becoming the overlord was not odd at all. The Most High Path was worried for nothing. The Purple Thunder monster has already offended even Maiden Mountain. These star duels truly are unfathomable. Queen Lady of Ice muttered to herself. A snow-white palace skirt glided past Queen Lady of Ice's eyes. Kai Wei, where are you going? Queen Lady of Ice's voice sunk. Gong Kai Wei looked at that earth-shattering battle over there. Her icy and snowy eyes already were clear and cold, but there was an additional resolution. Without needing a reply, Queen Lady of Ice knew what Gong Kai Wei wanted to do. Just what is your relationship with the Purple Thunder monster? Queen Lady of Ice knit her brow. Kai Wei owes the Purple Thunder monster a favor. Gong Kai Wei calmly said. Queen Lady of Ice was taken aback. She had never thought that the Purple Thunder monster had rescued her before. No wonder Gong Kai Wei would protect him. Seeing Gong Kai Wei's chilling eyes, Queen Lady of Ice knew that whatever she said was useless. Pausing, she asked, even if you owe him a favor, in the star duels, you must know your relationship with him, Kai Wei. Kai Wei understands. Gong Kai Wei knew that Queen Lady of Ice was concerned about her, and her tone warmed. There could be only one overlord of the star duels, which meant that no matter how close their current relationship was, when the time came, that one wish would inevitably bring about internecine strife. However, Gong Kai Wei felt that man was not necessarily aiming for that wish. Even so, do your best. Teacher shall no longer be involved with you all. Queen Lady of Ice shook her head. Kai Wei asks Master to be careful. Gong Kai Wei exhorted. Then, she whispered something to Zhu Sha and hurried to the battlefield. Elsewhere, the purple firmament immortal palaces whom he was struck dumb by the scene before her. Little me, Are we not heading out? Guardian Star Su Jingshu said. Her eyes nevertheless stared at the Strength Star. The first Overlord's descent had stirred the Guardian Star's battle appetite. Humi did not know whether to laugh or cry. She never expected that she would surprisingly witness the first Overlord, but Humi would not randomly place Su Jingshu's life in danger. Each fall into the star nest would bring the Star General lasting injury. Perhaps a star duel with the first Overlord could be greatly beneficial, but this price was not worth it. Shall we face Wusong? Humi eyed Wu Xiao. The person who had inherited the previous Overlord's fame was similarly enticing. Now was indeed the perfect opportunity, but Wusong was alone. Humi believed that she still had confidence in triumph, but this resolution made Humi hesitate indeterminately. This purple thunder monster honestly was too mysterious. Heaven knew what other trump cards he still had. Humi decided to quietly wait in a hidden location, to first observe clearly. If the first Overlord's Strength Star could dispatch the purple thunder monster, then that actually would save them a lot of trouble. Xia Chen's flying swords coalesced, an array of blinding fire soared out, immediately drawing near Su Xing. Countless flying swords became flaming sword shadows that chased Su Xing. A ball of sharp flame cut open a heat wave in the air. Xia Chen's fingers were like a blade, instantly striking. Another flying sword shot over. The baleful aura was severe, but Su Xing easily evaded, rushing in front of him the next moment. Go! Xia Chen's hand shuddered, becoming a flaming fire sword that hurriedly slashed. At the instant they attacked in close quarters, the flaming afterimages of the flying swords revolving around Xia Chen's body were like a coat, abruptly breaking free of his body. Man and fire split. Su Xing's eyes nevertheless was left with the blinding light of the leftover flames. Within the briefest of moments, a cold air clambered up and devoured the remaining flames in the air. Xia Chen's flying sword seized the chance to attack. At the same time, Wu Xinjia's 8 gates black gold chain broke through his layers of defense, smashing into Xia Chen's jaw, charging at a diagonal with a powerful direct stroke. The strike violently shook his brain. His divine intent was severed, and the flames dispersed. Xia Chen was struck back several dozen paces. Xia Chen's face was ashen. He did not believe that he had surprisingly been struck by the knowledge star. This generation's knowledge star has become very strong. Wearing slightly cold admiration, Xia Chen once again took action. He was very valiant. Although his divine intent was dispersed when he was struck, the flying swords did not falter. In the sky, they flashed downwards, unbelievably arriving above Wu Xinjie. The next flying swords heavily pounded downwards, stabbing Wu Xinjie from above. Bang! Just when he was about to prevail, the flying swords were quickly blocked by the 8 gates black gold chains array. Wu Xinjie did not change her strategy. She used the chains to trap these flying swords, letting out frightening grating sound. Xia Chen was stunned. One of 9-tailed spirit fox Hua Shui's fox eyes was open, firing an illusion. Although it could not possibly influence Xia Chen, that momentary disturbance in his divine intense usage still made Xia Chen pause for an instant. It was in this instant that Su Xing already rushed over him, hacking down with a sword. A glint flashed past the eyes of the Xia Chen who was in midair. Borrowing the force of this strike, he quickly turned around and evaded the tip. Then, his flying swords boomed towards Su Xing's neck. The Su Xing who was repelled several steps back once again used Heavenly Abyss to block, dispersing this flying sword attack. But only then did Xia Chen's true attack begin. Bang! Wide wings of flame unfolded on Xia Chen's back. Spiraling flames burned red, illuminating the entire sky. Flames sparked off of the wings, directly burying Su Xing inside the raging inferno. Xia Chen flashed by. Just when he was thinking of launching a second wave of attacks on the Su Xing trapped in the flames, countless rays of biting cold qi ripped apart the fire on Su Xing's body. With a whoosh, only black smoke was left. Xia Chen had no choice but to immediately halt his attack. Su Xing's whole body emitted a chilling qi, like ice-cold flames that burned. Even from far away, Xia Chen felt it in his bones. Instant frost flame. You really have many tricks. Xia Chen narrowed his eyes. But if you think this can face me, then you are gravely mistaken. You'll know soon enough. Su Xing said. Just as Xia Chen was about to reply, the cold chi suddenly diffused. Su Xing's hand pointed, already launching an attack. The instant frost flame transformed into an ice dragon that coiled around. Xia Chen leaned and launched a fire arrow. Su Xing's claw of cold ice immediately cut apart the fire arrow. Just when Su Xing sliced apart the fire arrow, Xia Chen already sprung with an even stronger dodge. Su Xing's speed immediately caught up. Xia Chen used super speed to leap left and right. Then, he used the flaming flying swords he created to attack Su Xing from all around. Su Xing appeared trapped by a ring of fire arrows, yet he calmly used his hands to tear apart the incursive fire arrow. Each time he tore them, he would carry an absolute cold intent. Following Xia Chen's intense attack, Su Xing continuously blocked his flying swords while paying attention to his movements at the time. Familiar with Xia Chen's attack patterns, Su Xing's cold eyes seized an epiphany on his impending position. He snapped his fingers. Instant frost flame whirled and fired, the cold chi spun oddly, completely freezing the air. Xia Chen all of a sudden leaned to the side and dodged this frightening aggression. His flying swords coiled and danced. His chance had come. Su Xing's eyes flashed with cold light. He showed a sneer and pointed. Instant frost flame exploded, and a range of several li instantly plunged into freezing temperatures. Xia Chen's movements also stiffened in this instant. Just as Xia Chen was about to rush through the freezing, he suddenly heard an air-ripping shriek in his ear. Casting a glance out of the corner of his eye, a beam of sky-breaking light suddenly flashed, shooting over with unimaginable speed. 10,000 Li God-killing arrow. The 10,000 Li God-killing arrow was extremely fast, but Xia Chen's reactions were outside the God-killing arrow's range. Although Su Xing had used the cold fire to inhibit his speed, this was not much to Xia Chen. As long as he released his spiritual pressure, he could even withstand the 10,000 God-killing arrow. Su Xing also sensed that things were far from good. Wu Xinjie released the 8 gates black gold chain, but she was completely helpless. But just at this moment, suddenly, a void array abruptly trapped Xia Chen. That array's appearance was so sudden, even Xia Chen completely did not anticipate it. He was stunned. His body immediately lost its abilities. Not good. Xia Chen's face turned white. Boom. The 10,000 Li God-killing arrow immediately pierced through. Liked it? The 10,000 Li God-killing arrow pierced Xia Chen's body, making this powerful Star Master's whole body stiffen. From far away, a graceful beauty currently drew her bow back aimed towards him. How could the Xia Chen that had been continuously suppressed by Su Xing and the others defend against this sneak-attacking arrow, but this bastard was extremely strong. Even with this, he still did not fall. But he was nearly there. Zhu Sha's 5 elements weather banner continuously changed. The array this time became ashes. Su Xing and Wu Xinjie continued to attack, finally killing Xia Chen. When Xia Chen died, his body manifested a trace of true spirit that broke, vanishing in the direction of Maiden Mountain. Kaiwei, thank you. Su Xing thanked Gong Kaiwei, secretly glancing at that boulder-like leader star Zhu Sha. He was inwardly impressed. This divine tactician's arrays were truly awesome, honestly too unpredictable. The magic weapons in the world paled in comparison. Gong Kaiwei gently shook her head. There was a rumble. Everyone turned their heads to look, and their hearts sank again. Originally, they had thought that killing Strength Star Lu Yuyu's Star Master Xia Chen could reverse the battle situation, but now it seemed that Strength Star was completely unconcerned. She was not affected in the slightest. On the contrary, once Xia Chen died, Lu Yuyu's star crest opened, and her powers suddenly magnified. The Lu Yuyu that had been faced with Lin Yingmei and Hunyangzi merely waved her spear to send the two girls flying away in succession. Then, she slayed the bright star's blood-sweat silver-hair horse. Hunyangzi fell off the horse, and Lu Yuyu flashed past, attacking her without any gaps. Just as Hunyangzi was about to fall into danger, Zhu Sha once again pointed her hand, using the 5 elements weather banner to trap Lu Yuyu. The strength star completely ran through it without even pausing. The golden Qilin lance manifested a chilling golden light. Su Xing saw, and his divine intent moved. A star crest appeared on his forehead. The golden and blue lights of the heaven-earth dark yellow skill, when autumn's golden wind embraces jade dew, enveloped Su Xing and Hunyangzi, rendering the watching Gong Kaiwei speechless. Lu Yuyu's slash was completely unsuccessful. Hunyangzi recalled golden wind and jade dew, wielding both sabers. She brandished radiant saber light. Lu Yuyu moved. Careful! Wu Xinjie shouted. That was something that happened in merely an instant. Lu Yuyu abruptly disappeared. She then inconceivably appeared beside Su Xing. Lu Yuyu's lance fired, using the yellow technique, flowing light bursts color. The golden Qilin lance immediately launched countless rays of golden light. Wu Xinjie's 8 gates black gold chains were knocked to pieces. The true Phoenix realm was no laughing matter. Her martial arts had reached the peak of what Liangshan continent could even imagine. Even the heaven, earth, dark, and yellow techniques she used had been promoted several levels. Su Xing opened the heavenly abyss. The spear light that flooded out of the flowing light bursts color injured Su Xing and Gong Kaiwei in merely the blink of an eye. Then, in the next instant, Lu Yuyu was already attacking again. This time, the target was not Su Xing but Gong Kaiwei instead. Lu Yuyu's expression appeared aloof, but her heart was still considerably resentful. Zhu Sha was completely too late to use the 5 elements weather banner and was killed into the star nest. Gong Kaiwei's expression changed. Just when the golden Qilin lance slashed, Su Xing already blocked in front of her. That flowing and smooth movement made them quite impressed. This man is too familiar, is he not? The meditative mind lotus flower bloomed, and he used the Akala wisdom king true body. Heaven tearing was cut to pieces. Lengya was cracked. In the end, the light landed on Su Xing's body. Fortunately, with the meditative mind lotus flower's brilliant Buddhist light and Hunyangzi's when autumn's golden wind embraces jade dew, the Phoenix Realm Martial General's lance was surprisingly stopped. Blood stained Gong Kaiwei's snow-white clothes red. The girl hastily tugged her hand, raising the aurora bottle. Wu Xinjie quickly attacked. Lu Yuyu suddenly changed, slashing the other way, swift beyond reason. The 8 gates black gold chain directly broke open. Killing intent filled the area. Just as Wu Xinjie was about to meet with misfortune, a bloodlight flashed past that rescued Wu Xinjie at the last possible moment. Needless to say, who else other than Su Xing loved to play the hero that rescued the beauty. The chaotic tail escape hurt Su Xing into nearly fainting. Lu Yuyu's remaining thrust again made Su Xing and Wu Xinjie sustain injury together. This true Phoenix realm truly was a cheat-like existence. Su Xing propped up his body, panting. In the instant just now when Lu Yuyu was enraged, her attack time could be described as ephemeral, but even so, Su Xing surprisingly defended 2 beauties in succession. The spectating Lu Yuyu was dumbstruck, forgetting to pursue with the next wave of attacks. This man must be a cheat, right, you? Lu Yuyu wanted to say something, yet she could not utter it. However, she watched Su Xing's string of crisis-averting actions, and her mood suddenly calmed. And Suwen hastily used life-returning magic hands. I never thought that once your star master died that you would become even stronger. Su Xing was speechless. We are merely traces of true spirit. Contracts are completely meaningless to us. If you kill him, his star energy will come to your servant. Lu Yuyu explained after seeing Su Xing's self-sacrificing kindness. At this time, Lin Yingmei and Hunyangzi already came over to protect him. Gong Kaiwei saw Su Xing had again blocked the attack. She wanted so much to ask, would it to kill you to let someone else save you for once? The result was that the Gong Kaiwei that had thought she returned a favor was once again in his debt. Now was not the time to be in debt. Lu Yuyu indifferently gripped her lance and suddenly trotted. 5-star Arctic Star Serpent Spear. It appears this generation of star duels is very exceptional. Lu Yuyu pointed at Lin Yingmei. The Arctic Star Serpent Spear had clashed for a long time, and its veil of wind had long been broken. 5 flowing stars were eye-catching for all who beheld it. Let us battle. Lu Yuyu said. The only ones who could contend against Lu Yuyu was Lin Yingmei and the Hunyangzi while using her Heaven-Earth Dark Yellow skill, if only barely. Wu Xiao was still recovering. Su Xing and Wu Xingjie were wounded. Shi Yuan and Zhang Yuqi understood that other than adding to the number inside Su Xing's star nest, they had no way to face the martial force of the first overlord. Young master, allow your servant to handle her. Lin Yingmei indifferently said. Following the majestic star's words, the girl already launched her assault. That absolutely was a hard-to-describe scene, unprecedented in the past. This spear was like a tidal wave that rushed through and bound the entire Bright Moon Longevity Palace in ice and snow. Feeling the majestic star's determination, everyone retreated. Then your servant shall accompany you. Strength Star Lu Yuyu smiled. A golden whirlwind that reached the blue dome of heaven rolled in the Bright Moon Longevity Palace. The 9 halls tottered on the edge of collapse, whirling around in golden wind and snowy wind. That Arctic Star Serpent Spear in Lin Yingmei's hand burst with an ice-cold hurricane, coiling upon it. What was even more stifling was that Lin Yingmei's entire person had fallen inside the whirlwind. Lu Yuyu's hands gripped her lance and put out a completely perfect defensive stance. You will die if you are careless. The downplayed phrase nevertheless made Su Xing and the others feel the ferocity of a true Phoenix Realm Star General. Lin Yingmei similarly adopted an attack stance, and the entire world shivered. Flowing white light and golden wind knocked against one another. With a crisp and clear shout, before she finished, Lin Yingmei raised the spear in her hands and shot towards Lu Yuyu. Following close behind her was bright star 10 feet of blue Hunyangzi. Wherever Lu Yuyu's golden lance swept, not only was the pervasive killing intent melted, but even the stone slabs on the ground were cracked. Even a faster figure would not have been able to dodge this tidal wave-like attack. Because the translucent flame's edge was completely without gaps, the Extreme Realm Star General's switch from offense to defense that was instantaneous was nevertheless ripped to shreds by a heat wave in no more than an instant. But this was not necessarily able to shake Lin Yingmei and Hunyangzi. The lightning-quick Lin Yingmei and Hunyangzi simultaneously used a difficult-to-capture tacit pace to evade all of that lance's attacks. Taking advantage of the moment that Lu Yuyu's violent power stabbed, the two of them flashed over to the flanks of their counterparts' trembling attacking hand. But before this silvery light tasted blood, Lu Yuyu's golden Qilin lance swept back. Judging that their coordination was extraordinarily tacit, Lu Yuyu's strike just now did not necessarily use full strength, still leaving room for recovery. Following the weapon's flying rotation, the line that the scarlet tip drew no longer pierced everything, rather, it had become countless circles. The crisp sounds of metallic clanging were endless, and when the battlefield was left with only the sound of the wind, Lin Yingmei's Arctic Star Serpent Spear made its greatest effort, Dark Technique. Long blizzard nights. A shuddering blizzard followed Lin Yingmei's spear technique that became increasingly terrifying, and the Bright Moon Longevity Palace was immediately caught in winter. Majestic Star, you are an opponent. Lu Yuyu's praise penetrated the ice and snow. Lin Yingmei's expression concentrated, sensing danger. But this is far from enough. Long blizzard night's continuous spear technique was suddenly terminated. Lu Yuyu emerged from within the snowstorm, her body radiating golden light that was just like 2 enormous wings. She gently blew, and the breath's berserk power shredded everything within 100 meters. Lin Yingmei's spear was shaken, sending her gliding backwards as the tip of the spear met the lance, emitting intense sparks. Beautiful defense. The corner of Lu Yuyu's lips curled as she then gripped her lance in reverse, leaping towards her opponent. Lin Yingmei's spear tip flit upwards, its spear light flashing, attempting to stab into a blind spot, but Lu Yuyu's next movement nevertheless was outside her expectations. The golden lance in her opponent's hand was like a phoenix numbly evading her attack. Instantly, the scattered golden wind pierced through Lin Yingmei's body. The scorching feeling made majestic Star Panther head groan in pain. Somewhat formidable. You have not made your servant disappointed. Lin Yingmei raised her head, breathing with difficulty, but she hesitated for an instant. Murderous intent once again gathered and took form. The next step of Lu Yuyu's assault immediately was obstructed by the Hunyangzi who rushed over. Lu Yuyu leaned back to go block, and Lin Yingmei rose, once again raising her spear to attack after mending her wound. Lu Yuyu was expressionless. She was no longer calm, and her pace began to become even more illusory. Her speed was swift to the limit. The three fell into a battle of high-speed movement, each of them following dance-like weapons as they ran. Comparing a high-speed battle to a direct confrontation, there would be a drop in the frequency of each side's attacks, and so long as the footwork of running was suitable for the polearm user to be able to firmly maintain the distance between her opponent, this made her fully able to wield her complete power. Even if Su Xing and the others were unable to interfere in such high-tempo combat, their eyes were dazzled. Everyone stared blankly at everything, giving rise to a sort of powerless feeling. Wu Xiao asked her sisters, "Is there any way to help Yingmei face her?" And Suan was currently helping Su Xing recover his spiritual powers. She shook her head, her essence-swallowing dragons were completely powerless against star generals. Shi Yuan was also without a solution, for even less needed to be said about the thief star. Zhang Yuqi was completely at a loss as well. In the end, everyone turned their gazes to Wu Xinjie. The Knowledge Star's 8 Gates black gold chain was now their most powerful weapon, but Wu Xinjie sighed. The 8 Gates black gold chain was extremely powerful in both trapping and killing enemies, but the true Phoenix realm was beyond it. Let alone that Wu Xinjie was very worried about Lu Yuyu retaliating, for she required the 8 Gates black gold chain to stand guard at the side to avoid encountering the unexpected. Maiden Mountain could dispatch an overlord's true spirit for a trial. Heaven knew what other despicable things there were. It seems we can only leave things to Yingmei. Because Wu Xiao had faced Lu Yuyu by herself for a time, and was already unable to fight any further, she could only pray in secret. There is someone else. Su Xing gazed at the horizon. At the horizon, there was already a beautiful figure releasing a cold arrow. The 9 halls of the Bright Moon Longevity Palace had already disappeared with nothing left, reduced to practically smithereens. In this kind of substantive battle, although Lu Yuyu was powerful, the one she faced was the 5-star destined weapon Lin Yingmei and the Heaven-Earth Dark Yellow capable Hunyangzi. These feelings our endless lasso was continuously hurled out, and Hunyangzi and Lin Yingmei's coordination was quite tacit. Not only this, but even greater pressure for Lu Yuyu came from the Hua Wanhua firing arrows. So long as she scored one 10,000-li god-killing arrow, to Lu Yuyu, it would be a very bad start. Just as Su Xing said, no one could contend against Hua Wanhua's arrows. An attack like this was unshakable. Currently, Hunyangzi and Lin Yingmei had halted their assault. Their hands were shuddering already to the point they were unable to even grip their weapons, and Lu Yuyu also showed exhaustion. Her counterattacks were not as formidable as before, as completely invulnerable. After all, she had continuously battled top-notch martial generals like Wu Xiao and Yan Yizhen, which was already very taxing. Just what is Maiden Mountain? Lin Yingmei carefully observed the Lu Yuyu opposite of her. Believe me, you definitely do not wish to know this answer. Lu Yuyu's smile at this time was a bit forced. Hunyangzi snorted, then she sneered. Elder sister, there is no need to waste words on a true spirit like this. Just for what purpose must we star duel? Lin Yingmei inquired. Your servant has no comment. Lu Yuyu looked around. If you all truly wish to know, then do not hesitate to kill your servant. Complete this trial. Lu Yuyu used an unsympathetic tone to speak. The Qilin golden light on her body then expanded in all directions, and a row of flames spread everywhere. Careful, Wu Xinjie hastily called out. The 8 gates black gold chain shuddered under the golden light. The true Phoenix Realm Star General's light let out a power that was surprisingly this full of power. Lu Yuyu stood in the center of the light. Her burning wings flapped up and down, crying like a phoenix in this burning world. She soared, and no one dared to say anything now. This was the characteristic of a true Phoenix Star General. Hun Yangzi used her hands to tightly grip Golden Wind and Jade, using a beautiful posture to wield a slash towards the ground underfoot. The next instant, a several 100-meter-long trench suddenly appeared in between them without warning, and the saber chi at the edge of the ground suddenly flashed with a glaring light that then frantically swayed with an ear-splitting slam that pierced their ears. In the rocking of the flames, the bright star nodded to Lin Yingmei, who was at the side. We should end this. Lin Yingmei grit her teeth like an apathetic phoenix of ice and snow, rushing towards Lu Yuyu. The blizzard blew hard from behind her, and roaring at the same time, Hun Yangzi followed alongside her like a shadow, shuttling back and forth through Lu Yuyu's attack as she pleased. Seeing them launch an attack, Lu Yuyu raised the golden Qilin lance to refract a beam of light. Astonishingly, it was Flowing Light Birth's color. Flowing Light Birth's color drew an elaborately calculated winding curve that then cut towards its target body without ever going in the same direction twice. Hun Yangzi shook the double sabers and fired 2 rays of sword chi to attack. Lu Yuyu then used her star energy to block this sneak attack, and her sharp killing intent bit into the translucent form of the sword chi, biting it into countless pieces. Hun Yangzi's surroundings immediately exploded with glittering smoke and flame. On the other side, Lin Yingmei used speed and power that did not match her supple body to dodge past each ray of the yellow technique's attack angles. Not even the lithe hems of her clothing were touched. The flowing light was devoured by the snowstorm. Lu Yuyu was finally piqued. She raised the lance to split apart their pincer attack. The lance and spear once again slid across. The exchange this time had already tipped the scales of victory. A rain of red blood splashed out from one of their bodies. Lu Yuyu's brow squeezed together, as she half-knelt, using her flaming lance to prop herself up. Peace and security for 1,000 years. Your servant has already forgotten how to go burn away the passion of battle. Lu Yuyu warmly and gravely said. Then allow your servant to show you. Lin Yingmei sneered. Her weapon aimed at the young woman's heart, instantly running her through. Lu Yuyu countered. Suddenly, the golden Qilin lance shuddered. Dark rank technique. Golden rhythmic flash. Lin Yingmei parried it, but this golden rhythmic flash's attack speed was honestly too fast. Hun Yangzi was completely unable to withstand it. Golden Wind and Jade Dew smashed to pieces on contact, and the lance scored a hit on her chest that sent her flying. And Suan used mind-stealing smoke and rain, shifting the injuries to herself. Hun Yangzi finally could not continue and thus withdrew. Sister Yingmei, Yangzi leaves this to you. Hun Yangzi said with difficulty. In an instant, the battle was left to 2 exceptional people. Your opponent is your servant. Lin Yingmei coldly shouted. Very well. The Qilin's murderous aura erupted. A prick of cruel ice and snow froze the earth, and a seemingly bloody line approached. The battle and surging killing intent was instantly pulled apart. Every sort of ice-cold bone chill followed close behind. In the first moment strength star Lu Yuyu opened her attack, her unstoppable battle desire made Lin Yingmei launch a counterattack without any hesitation. Defeat her. At this moment, this was Lin Yingmei's only thought. Hey! Strength star Lu Yuyu's lance slashed a golden light. Her attack could be rated as quick. It was that kind of recklessness that made her opponent too late to realize what was happening. Without any warning, the mud under her feet suddenly erupted. Countless golden lights shot into the air, blocking Lin Yingmei's field of view. In the fluttering golden light, Strength Star Jade Qilin's figure suddenly pierced towards Lin Yingmei. The golden lance in her hand flashed with a chilling, ice-cold light. Blood light suddenly appeared. No one could have imagined that sudden attack would be so fierce. Even if Lin Yingmei's reactions were swift, she was completely unable to evade this sneak attack. With a ripping sound, there was already a long hole in between her ribs. Blood flowed freely from her wound, and a slightly numb feeling instantly engulfed Lin Yingmei's whole body. She was the first overlord not just in name, but also in reality. Such a terrifying attack seemed eternally unforeseeable, to have battled for such a long time and still be able to display such an excellent aspect. The next second, Lu Yuyu vanished from sight. Lin Yingmei had no time to be startled. Her reaction were also incomparably swift. If it was anyone else, they probably would not have been able to consider it, but as a top-notch martial general, the Lin Yingmei that was also in possession of a 5-star destined weapon was not necessarily without a chance of victory against the 4-star Lu Yuyu. Without the slightest thought, Lin Yingmei already flew away from the ground. A powerful force instantly pounced from all directions, and the surrounding zhang of area seemed to violently shake for a moment. By means of the powerful recoil, the girl's body already flew backwards more than 50 zhang in a split second. Where had been at originally, there was already an arrogant woman wearing golden clothing. Lu Yuyu's brows knit together, as if she was unable to believe this strike surprisingly did not kill her target. Having gone through battles with so many martial generals, Lu Yuyu had unwittingly declined. Instantly, strength star Lu Yuyu killing resolve continued to manifest. In the haze of the murderous aura, Lin Yingmei's figure suddenly pierced through, carrying a similar killing intent as she cut over. The golden qilin lance already brushed violently by, like a howling qilin, pushing the figure in front of her in another frightening exchange. If it could be said that the battle between them just now was a confrontation purely of speed, then in this merciless battle, strength had become even more important, so much so that it was the deciding factor in life and death. This was something that could not be judged using experience. Strength star Lu Yuyu shouted, and her lance manifested multiple trajectories, as if it was tearing open cracks in time. Without need for thought or hesitation, efficiently strike. Lin Yingmei's spear defended. The Arctic Star Serpent Spear's strength would only be more powerful compared to the 4-star Golden qilin lance. Its flowing 5 stars were like a river, but while Strength Star Lu Yuyu continuously retreated, she was simultaneously wearing a challenging grin. The lance swept horizontally. Strength Star Lu Yuyu's surroundings released golden light that seemed to have come alive. The golden true phoenix silhouette began to flow on her body, as if she had a second life. Lin Yingmei was too late to ponder about any other trump cards Lu Yuyu may have. Her attacks did not stop in the slightest, and her excessively powerful strength was unstoppable just by relying on her body alone. Just touching it would permeate the target's body. Each additional slash bit opened another terrifying wound in the bright moon longevity palace, splashing it with skyrocketing flashes. Afterwards, the baleful aura pouring out from her body then tyrannically crushed each of them, making Lin Yingmei's flesh and spirit simultaneously let out cries of pain excruciating enough for her to wish for death. Even so, her fierce determination still suppressed these two sufferings, continuing to use speed too fast for the naked eye to track to fiercely cut at each other. In the majestic star's vocabulary, there never was the phrase, fall back. Then, the true Phoenix Realm Star General's valiance was startling and terrifying, each slash forcing Lin Yingmei to feel fear and trepidation. As expected of the overlord of the beginning generation of the star duels, even with only a 4-star Destian's star weapon, those attack methods and power of the woman in front of her maintained a surprising tyranny. The pressure it brought even gave people a sort of spontaneous despair. Several hundred exchanges between attack and defense passed by in an instant. After Lin Yingmei's eyes finally adapted to Lu Yuyu's glaring true phoenix light, her attack automatically launched. Suddenly, a ray of light broke apart. Strength star Lu Yuyu all along concentrated on that luminous point. When she attacks, she concentrated on suddenly thrusting the lance. When she defended, it flowed back to the impact on the lance itself, as if the lance was a demon moving at high speed. Regardless of whatever angle she launched an attack from, whatever direction the enemy's attack came, Lu Yuyu could appear at the most accurate position and beautifully defend in time. This is bad. Lin Yingmei barely leaned her face away, and a line of blood was torn open along her cheek. The girl grit her teeth, suddenly spun and raised the Arctic Star Serpent Spear. A cold chi spread from the spear, carrying a rippling killing intent. The killing intent attacked her opponent with endless power, attempting to steal the initiative. Strength Star Lu Yuyu smiled. She suddenly stabbed with her hand, with even her whole person shooting towards Lin Yingmei. Killing intent smashed onto her body, arousing an air ripple that was visible to the naked eye. This ripple moved in all other directions, and wherever it passed, regardless of stone or jade, everything disintegrated. In fact, slamming into the light that Strength Star Lu Yuyu let out at the very least created more than 1,000, even 10,000, collisions per second. These kinds of collisions blossomed powerfully in the space between them, completely soundlessly destructive to the extreme. In the battle between these two, Su Xing's side also watched extremely nervously, but Su Xing genuinely had no way to interfere with the true Phoenix Realm Star General. Other than resonance, there was nothing. This majestic star is very incredible. Humi currently watched, entranced. She suddenly heard Su Jingshu say something. She saw that Guardian Star Gold Lancer's current excited expression was already completely replaced by Lin Yingmei. Lin Yingmei's clear-cut heroic figure was like a unique scroll crafted by heaven sketched out in the bright moon longevity palace. The lazy Guardian Star Gold Lancer Su Ning felt a rush of excitement, and her shoulders shuddered. Humi deeply felt the same. 5-star destined weapon, truly unbelievable. The Star Generals beside that purple thunder monster surprisingly has a star weapon that high. Just who is he? Humi was increasingly blank. Shall we kill him? Su Ning asked. Pausing for a moment, no, little me Jingshu feels we should not kill him. Jingshu very much wants to duel once with majestic Star Panther head. Humi forced a smile. Even now, she was still so relaxed. The purple thunder monster definitely took the leading role in these star duels. Now, perhaps only by uniting all star masters could they possibly equal him. However, if little me wants to take action now, your servant shall follow your orders. Su Jingshu said. Humi shook her head slightly. She saw Gong Kaiwei had sunk deep into thought. The purple thunder monster not only has star generals following him, but he also has 2 star masters in accompaniment. This is very odd. Humi wonders what mystery lies within. Is it because they have decided on the 7 Stars Assembly? Su Jingshu guessed. The 7 Stars Assembly was the star duel's final phase, distinguishing 7 star masters who had ascended Maiden Mountain. The last one standing was the winner. Before this, 7 star masters maintaining secret alliances was very common. In fact, an alliance of 7 stars was a common occurrence in past star duels. No, it cannot be so simple. Humi could tell that kind of trust that in life and death absolutely was not a collaboration. There definitely was something within that they would do things to this degree. But what that something was, Humi could not surmise. That? Su Jingshu was also grave. See whether or not that majestic star can defeat the first overlord. If she truly can defeat it, then we need to change our strategy. Humi said in a low voice. Strategy? We shall see. Humi did not answer. Receiving Little Mi's command to not loot a burning home, Su Jingshu actually relaxed. Her eyes merely gazed at Lin Yingmei, somewhat interested. Furthermore, Lin Yingmei and Lu Yuyu stormed and showed each other with attacks and counterattacks. Suddenly, a golden arrow shadow flew out. Then, this arrow shadow brushed past Lu Yuyu's cheek and flew away. A line of blood appeared on her temple. Lu Yuyu nimbly dodged. With an abrupt leap, she flashed past Lin Yingmei's attack. Her target astonishingly was the hero star. Not good. Su Xing said to himself that things were far from good, and his figure suddenly vanished. Just as Hua Wanyue was about to prepare a star-piercing arrow when a ray of cold light pressured her. Lu Yuyu was in front of her in a mere instant. Little sister, you arrows truly make me somewhat unhappy. Accompanying her words of displeasure, the golden qilin lance slashed downwards. Hua Wanyue brought out the red jade star-splitting short spear to block. This weapon snapped with a bang, and the weapon's disintegration made her movements stagger for a mere moment. Lu Yuyu already drew near. Once the strength star was up close, that was enough to be fatal. Hua Wanyue maintained her gracefulness. Remaining unflustered, he used her bow to go block. The storm of death that strength star Lu Yuyu carried blew apart the fluttering blood flowers, beautifully breaking apart Hua Wanyue's defenses. After an enormous bang, Hua Wanyue's body was struck into the air like a kite with its string severed, drawing a long parabola. Acute pain made Hua Wanyue grit her teeth. Golden lance shadows were everywhere. When she was knocked flying, the killing intent that sprinkled down made the surroundings brim with a ripping sensation. The glaring cracks along the ground were like strange scribbles, and when the girl fell to the ground, there was even more debris, stained red with blood. Furthermore, she was losing blood continuously without stop. If this continued, she certainly would die. Hua Wanyue grit her teeth. She quickly drew her bow, her eyes full of complete admiration and unyielding will towards strength star Lu Yuyu. Hua Wanyue seemed like a person made completely of blood. Her graceful jewel-like pupils carried a slight dimness, but the light that did not concede defeat had not yet been extinguished. This sort of expression made strength star Lu Yuyu very impressed. To still be unafraid at this stage, she did not disgrace the hero star's name. Dance through the willows. Strength star Lu Yuyu spoke, since you and Wu Song made the same choice, then your servant must make at least one of you regret it. That golden qilin lance then swung, and even the light shadow on its body also bit at her. A thunderclap seemed to erupt along the ground. Lu Yuyu's piercing cold light and killing intent were completely demonic. Terrifying pressure instantly flew in all directions. Hua Wanyue's yellow technique instantly crumbled, and the Hua Wanyue who was so close once again sustained heavy injury. Her figure was like a comet, ruthlessly launched by the pressure. In the violent lance's shadow, the ice-cold weapon rapidly moved, and a frightening killing intent seemed to instantly appear, continuously attacking the place that Hua Wanyue had fallen to. In a split second, she had carved open a gigantic hole. The rumble of thunder endlessly echoed, and the baleful aura that filled the skies spurted out sand, stone, earth, and trees. Countless ruins of palaces were dashed to pieces, becoming a drifting dust that filled the air. Even if she was not a battle maniac, strength star Lu Yuyu's powerful destructive energy was manifested without doubt. Behind the murderous aura that flew in all directions, strength star Lu Yuyu's eyes burst with cold light. Suddenly, her hands clenched the golden qilin lance. The killing intent flowing over whole body instantly gathered onto the weapon in her hands. But Lu Yuyu's wish had still failed. By the time the dust dispersed, Hua Wanyue's trail had already disappeared from that place. A couple had appeared in the air. This time, it was not just Su Xing, but rather Lin Yingmei. Su Xing stood before her. Su Xing, Lord Husband, Dear Husband, Big Brother, all of the girls were stunned. Even the Lu Yuyu who was about to pursue was taken aback. She had never expected that Su Xing would block in front of her. Your servant does not wish to kill you. But I wanted to meet you. Su Xing smiled, his flying swords revolving around him. Lu Yuyu felt that she had heard a very funny joke. A supercluster middle stage star master surprisingly wanted to meet her. Her whole body erupted with fury, and the girl smiled despite her anger. You oaf. Her powerful spirit forced Su Xing nearly into retreat, but even so, that fury still made Su Xing blink. Just at this moment, cold light flashed in her eyes. Clang clang. Sparks splashed. Su Xing broke into a cold sweat from fright. What swift speed! Lu Yuyu's wrist sunk. The golden qilin lance drew a ray of light, her attack launching at that instant. At practically the moment metal clanged, Su Xing's heavenly abyss swords and Lu Yuyu's golden qilin lance clashed against each other. There was an enormous impact that made the entire ground quake. The fog was frantically rolled away. The heaven-tearing and Langia flying swords were completely helpless against the true Phoenix martial general's assault. Even Hua Wanyue's red jade star-splitting short spear had split, let alone his other flying swords. And Heavenly Abyss' powerful defensive nature was perfect to use here. Su Xing made his swords combine. His figure moved, and the airflow along the sword's edge gathered into a sharp blade light, tearing apart the air. The air distorted. Regardless of speed, angle, power, or determination, they could not be more perfect. It was such a perfect attack to Lu Yuyu that she could hardly say it was bad, but it was far from enough. Lu Yuyu once again made Su Xing witness her terrifying martial general capabilities. The sword light was disintegrated, and like a fading light, it gave people a brief flash when it appeared. The golden Qilin lance already slashed towards Su Xing, easily breaking Su Xing's sword. Su Xing and the sword blocked this frontal slice. Hey! The golden Qilin lance's trajectory astonishingly changed. Lu Yuyu still drew several steps closer in front of Su Xing, revealing a glimmer. Su Xing then tumbled backwards. Die! Lu Yuyu's voice grew louder. Without holding back, she brandished a tyrannical attack. Su Xing's eyes nevertheless glinted, and the corner of lips curled with a very profound curve. This was the capabilities of a true Phoenix martial general. A powerful pressure clamped down on Su Xing, but fortunately, Heavenly Abyss was surly. It could barely resist Lu Yuyu's power that was unmatched under heaven. Passing through the golden Qilin lance's changed trajectory and overbearing power, Su Xing could clearly sense the Lu Yuyu that was at the center. Su Xing craved to have his fill of a battle against the true Phoenix realm martial general. Even if it was for only a few moves, he did not dare be careless. Su Xing already retreated, being forced to a dead end. Lu Yuyu's golden Qilin lance techniques were very tyrannical. Her actions were undertaken very swiftly. If it was not because Lu Yuyu had fought Wu Xiao, Yan Yizhen, Lin Yingmei, and Hua Wanyue beforehand, having decreased her star energy, Su Xing honestly would not have dared made direct contact. Bang! Lu Yuyu suddenly thrust the golden Qilin lance, immediately shaking the ground. Su Xing vomited blood. The grin on his face was even more extreme, making Lu Yuyu feel even more indignant. To be able to battle with the strength star Lu Yuyu that was battle-crazed felt truly wonderful. Strength star Lu Yuyu's figure was slender, the expression on her face slightly changing. A blood-red color dispersed. In that instant, two colors blend into one, twisting together. A strange harmony emerged, emitting an intimidating killing intent. At the same time there was a long cry, the girl rushed forwards, brushing by like a shooting star, carrying an overwhelming power that suddenly sliced towards Su Xing. Heavenly Abyss shuddered. Hua! Su Xing vomited blood again. The bones, meridians and blood vessels in this whole body were about to break apart. The beauties below at this time rushed upwards one after another. Is this man insane? To unexpectedly go duel the strength star. Hua Wanyue was being supported by Lin Yingmei. A bit of happiness flashed through her heart, but it was immediately scared stiff by Su Xing's overwhelming actions. The hero star truly was astonished. Yingmei, it is up to you to finish what happens next in the trial. A voice floated over. Wu Xinjie already appeared beside them. Lin Yingmei wrinkled her brow. Without saying another word, she charged forth. Just what is happening? Hua Wenyue's head leaked sweat. Wu Xinjie slightly smiled, graceful as clouds, as everything had already ended. There is only this. Hua Wanyue was taken aback, and her face turned red. Strength star Lu Yuyu's breathing had already become labored at some point. Although he true Phoenix first stage star general was unhindered at this stage, with no equal, continuously battling with Su Xing's top-notch martial generals made her not as well as before. Courting death. Lu Yuyu took a deep breath, and a savage glint flashed in her eyes. Bang! Heavenly Abyss obstruction was shaken apart by the golden Qilin lance. The sword shield defense broke, and Lu Yuyu sprung forth to slash him. Flying swords of ice and snow abruptly ambushed her from all sides. Gong Xiwei's hands formed a hand seal, and she gracefully appeared beside Su Xing with an escape technique. Kaiwei. Su Xing blinked, very surprised. Gong Kaiwei did not say anything at all. Her clear, snowy pupils focused on Lu Yuyu. Her delicate hands gripped the tracing snow sword, and she coldly said, "For the first overlord to interfere in the star duels, is Maiden Mountain already so shameless? Lady, you must know what you are doing. Your servant is helping you kill this man who has contracted multiple star generals, are you not grateful?" Lu Yuyu gently laughed. "Or perhaps you think you can defeat him in a star duel?" Gong Kaiwei cast Su Xing a sidelong glance, aloof. "That is not your concern. Kaiwei cannot bear to see this despicable affair." The ice spirit snow soul flying sword's white light flew in all directions, revolving around her body, forming a snowy, chilling sword array. Lu Yuyu's mouth hung agape. She thought she had misheard. She stared oddly at Su Xing, inwardly pondering just what kind of bewitching herb this man had given these women. He had unexpectedly even brought a star master, an inevitably mortal enemy, to his side. Strange, so strange. "If you interfere, your servant shall not show you any mercy." Lu Yuyu was stern. Her figure flashed, and her lance attacked. "Careful!" Su Xing called out. The immortal hero princess and Su Xing then charged forth with Su Xing at the same time. Gong Xiwei's tracing snow sword's technique became boundless, swift as quicksilver, extremely illusory. The immortal hero princess had cultivated the sword ever since she was little, so her sword arts were naturally brilliant. Having not seen each other for so long, Su Xing took notice that Gong Xiwei's sword technique was even more outstanding. The tracing snow sword's true spirit, blooming water dragon, emerged, continuously entangling the golden Qilin lance. Although she could not compare to Su Xing right now, she nevertheless could contend against Lu Yuyu. Gong Xiwei's actions greatly alleviated the pressure on Su Xing originally. The already heavily injured Su Xing once again endured his wounds. The golden Qilin lance's golden light reverberated. Very quickly, Gong Xiwei's ice spirit snow soul flying swords then could not bear any more and was thus defeated. Her figure somersaulted in the attack, but several blinks worth of exchanges lasted longer than a century. Su Xing and Gong Kaiwei very quickly already were arrows at the end of their paths. Immediately afterwards was Lu Yuyu's lance attack. A golden wind injured the pair. Humph. Gong Xiwei's finger pointed. She raised the aurora bottle, and a canopy-like aurora simultaneously flowed out from the bottle's mouth. The girl read an incantation, and her magic energy swelled, her power incomparably vast. Su Xing noticed only then that Gong Xiwei's cultivation had surprisingly reached supervoid stage. The aurora gathered and wrapped Lu Yuyu within. Even if Strength Star Jade Qilin wanted to escape, there was no place to run to. But the prehistoric spirit treasure was not worth a mention in facing the true Phoenix realm Lu Yuyu. The Strength Star clenched the lance, and with a stab, her figure was like a phoenix. Strength that toppled mountains and overturned seas spurt forth from the lance and immediately ripped apart the entire aurora. The true phoenix specter on Lu Yuyu's body blossomed with a resplendent light. Their eyes were blinded. Such swift speed. Su Xing's first reaction was to bring Gong Kaiwei away. How could he have foreseen that Gong Kaiwei also thought this way? Both of them turned and nearly ran into each other. Their eyes made contact, and they paused, discerning each other's thoughts. Go! Gong Xiwei's tone was gentle, her cheeks slightly red. Faster by a step, her white hand pulled Su Xing. The aurora bottle's aurora once again released to envelop the pair. There was a clear bang. The golden Qilin lance surprisingly pierced into the aurora light bottle, destroying all of the aurora. Gong Xiwei's face paled, and she spat blood, staining her clothes red. A cold wind blew through, for Lu Yuyu was already sweeping her lance towards them. Su Xing struck with a palm. A golden lotus bloomed in the air, blocking everything like a rampart. It was only 1 second, but Lu Yuyu then swept away all of their abilities. Just as Su Xing and Gong Kaiwei were about to meet misfortune, just as Su Xing was planning on using the chaotic tail escape again, it was at this moment that a cool and elegant figure blocked in front of them, blocking the attack with a clang. The other beauties appeared in succession. What are you all doing? Su Xing was taken aback. Wu Xiao, your servant has already defeated you. Could it be you wish to die this time? Lu Yuyu said in a heavy tone. She did not place Zhang Yuqi, and Suan, Tang Lianxin and the others in her mind at all. This was not carelessness at all, but a top-notch martial general sort of instinct. Before Wu Xiao could reply, they suddenly heard a voice of ice and snow. Xiao, allow your servant to end this trial. Lin Yingmei flashed to the center of them. She nodded at the others, her eyes seemed to be saying, leave this to your servant, little sisters, your servant asks you to leave first. Yingmei? Wu Xiao hesitated / your servant will not betray the efforts of the sisters and young master. Lin Yingmei's gaze swept across them. When she looked at Su Xing, she was particularly tender. I, Lin Yingmei, shall end everything right now. The Arctic Star Serpent's spear pointed straight at Lu Yuyu, its 5 stars flowing every which way in the surroundings of the spear, displaying an extraordinary aggression. And it was this kind of aggression was not false bravado nor excessive conceitedness, but because the other sisters' battles. From Wu Xiao, Gong Sun Huang, Yan Yizhen, Hu Sanyang up to Su Xing and Gong Kaiwei doing their utmost against Strength Star Jade Xulin to the last moment, how could she, Lin Yingmei, allow everything to fall short at the end? Very well. Lu Yuyu nodded in admiration, feeling sincerely impressed by Lin Yingmei's courage. Worthy of majestic star Lin Chong, you make your servant recall the first panther head, Lin Xiangma. She was also very extraordinary, however, in the end, your servant still had the better odds of victory. Can you still manage? No need for nonsense. Lin Yingmei's eyes were full of a cold frost, as if she was smiling. Lu Yuyu nodded. 2 silhouettes rapidly rushed each other with matchless speed. Lu Yuyu's golden qilin lance threaded through an incalculable distance, striking as a line. The weapon's light shadow suddenly lengthened. Lin Yingmei wielded a cold light, using her spear tip to block Lu Yuyu's slash. Their weapon let out a terrible thud. Power exploded. Lin Yingmei soared backwards, simultaneously bending her right arm and launching the spear over. The Strength Star's lance immediately broke free of this attack. Lin Yingmei seized this slight gap, rushing to be the first to attack. Lu Yuyu seemed to have already responded, and one hand suddenly grabbed Lin Yingmei's fist that was covered in cold frost. Their powers were battling in secret. Lin Yingmei was not an opponent for a true Phoenix Star Genera and was pushed back. Lu Yuyu quickly caught up, grabbing at her like a starving falcon. Lin Yingmei somersaulted in midair, dodging away from Lu Yuyu's sneak attack, simultaneously launching swift and severe spear technique. If things are like this, you may be able to defeat your servant. Lu Yuyu took a deep breath, making herself maintain calm. She showed a pearly white grin. How long can you last? Majestic Star Panther Head Lin Yingmei. Take this. Wu Xiao and the other girls at this time had already withdrawn to Wu Xinjie's side. And Suan used mind-stealing smoke and rain to receive heavy injury, but she still maintained treatment of her big brother. The other beauties guarded around her, not allowing the murderous aura of Lin Yingmei and Lu Yuyu's battle to affect her. Sister Yingmei can definitely win, right, Su Xing? Sure. Yuan tightly clenched her fists, gazing at the Lin Yingmei battling with her utmost with some disbelief and a bit of helplessness. Just believe in Yingmei. Su Xing stared fixedly at Lin Yingmei's each and every move. Although Lu Yuyu has defeated Xiao and the others, she has wasted a lot of energy. Right now is probably her limit. Yingmei has 5 stars, and although she is not the same realm, she will not be passive. Wu Xinjie explained, especially when she had already casted speed is a crucial asset in war for Lin Yingmei. In terms of speed, Lu Yuyu could not take a big advantage at all. But what made Wu Xinjie worried was Lu Yuyu's earth rank technique. The true Phoenix Strength Star had used an earth rank and still had enough strength to use a second. Wu Xinjie had witnessed the might of the Qilin ensnaring heaven array. If she used this again, perhaps everyone, who were completely spent, would be in danger. They could only flee using the jade pendant. Wu Xinjie's worries very quickly came true. 100 bouts were fought in the sky. Lu Yuyu's speed, awareness and other martial force aspects were already beginning to decline. Continuously fighting with so many top-notch martial generals, the only true Phoenix first stage star general had reached her limit. The trace of true spirit showed signs of fading. Lu Yuyu knew that she needed to settle the battle swiftly. Lu Yuyu's fingers swept slowly across the lance. The golden Qilin lance slightly lowered, and a soaring wind washed away the Arctic Star Serpent Spear's baleful aura. Her sharp expression and the lance became a line. The Strength Star charged forth with a spurt of energy, and the lance roared as it stabbed, drawing a slender trail that was bright as daylight in the air. Lin Yingmei in an instant used her spear to block this attack. Although her hands were shaken a bit numb by her opponent's power, she nevertheless did not care at all. She seized the chance to spin her weapon, slashing back with lightning speed. "Hey!" Lu Yuyu shouted and spun the golden Qilin lance, and an intense circular motion followed the metallic sheen. Then, the entire lance suddenly shook. Lin Yingmei was shaken back. "Lin Yingmei, take your servant's Qilin ensnaring heaven." Lu Yuyu did not pursue again. Instead, she fell like a meteor onto the ground, and after an earth-shattering quake, the golden Qilin lance heavily stuck into the ground. Lu Yuyu coldly shouted. Golden light emitted from the lance. Subsequently, it was increasingly resplendent, and the entire bright moon longevity palace became like a Qilin. The Qilin's golden light arced about, a thunderous roar. Her powerful strength practically destroyed the bright moon longevity palace. The airflow that arose endlessly blew past Su Xing and the others. The Qilin ensnaring heaven was a wide-range earth technique. Now that Lu Yuyu was already at her final blow, Wu Xinjie's expression changed. "Young lord, we need to escape." "No." Su Xing categorically refused. "Young lord?" Wu Xinjie was astonished. She suddenly saw that Su Xing and the others had raised their heads to look at the sky. Lin Yingmei hovered in the air. Her whole body glittered with a cold light. The flowing 5 stars flew out of the spear and whirled around Lin Yingmei's body. Lin Yingmei's hands clenched her spear, and an indescribable strength flowed about the majestic star's body. The sky was ice cold. "Lu Yuyu, watch your servant's earth rank." Lin Yingmei revolted. The snowy cold light was released, making Lin Yingmei's entire person appear like a flickering light of ice cold, a frozen sun and moon. Her black hair instantly turned into a cold blue tone. Ice fragments like fairies fluttered around Lin Yingmei's whole body, beautiful enough to make people lose their voice. Su Xing had never seen Lin Yingmei this beautiful, and he forgot about everything. Lin Yingmei manifested an icy shooting star that fell straight into the center of the Qilin ensnaring heaven. The Qilin's roar already was unable to stop the majestic star's advance. This was majestic star Lin Yingmei. Earth rank technique. Ice heart sealing sun and moon. The ice-cold Lin Yingmei descended from the heavens, streaking into the middle of strength star Lu Yuyu's Qilin ensnaring heaven as a meteor. Then, she used illusory spear technique. Each attack she wielded had an extremely cold airflow that pervaded more than 100 li. After a split second, the bright moon longevity palace was already completely frozen. A world of ice and snow became an extremely frigid glacier. The world was entirely of bone-chilling ice cold. A cold wind rustled in the air. Lin Yingmei drew back her spear. She straightened her back, her snowy eyes clear and cold. Lu Yuyu's whole body was stained with cold frost. Her body slightly shivered, whether it was because of the extreme cold or some other reason. Although they were similarly earth-rank techniques in contest, Lu Yuyu's was already the second she used, so how could she have compared to Lin Yingmei? She was at a great disadvantage. Not bad, your servant has not come to this Liangshan in vain. Lu Yuyu laughed. To have been with a true Phoenix Senior has allowed your servant to greatly benefit. Lin Yingmei said. And, then good. Future trials still await you, however, your servant still stands here right now. Lu Yuyu hefted her golden Qilin lance, and her whole body was soaked in golden light, washing away the ice and frost. A particularly eye-catching dot of golden light manifested in the world of ice and snow. There was no need for any more words. Lin Yingmei understood that Lu Yuyu's intentions. As the most top-notch martial general, perhaps, defeat was the best ending. Their attack was carried out in that instant. At practically the moment that metal weapons rang, Lu Yuyu's golden Qilin lance and Lin Yingmei's Arctic Star Serpent spear clashed and gave rise to an enormous impact. The entire glacier shuddered, and the frozen mountain scenery crumbled under their power. Lu Yuyu's lance swung, and the airflow on the lance concentrated into a sharp killing intent, tearing the air to shreds, directly storming over. The air warped. The baleful aura was shattered. Lin Yingmei suddenly vanished, drawing a trail of phantoms. When she reappeared, there was a brief blinding moment. Her spear already stabbed towards Lu Yuyu. Lu Yuyu raised her lance to parry this direct slash. Hey! The spear abruptly vanished. Lin Yingmei already broke through to right in front of Lu Yuyu. There was an air-splitting gleam, an explosive killing intent. Lu Yuyu tumbled backwards. The corner of Lin Yingmei's mouth curled. Her silhouette leapt, faster than a meteor. Lu Yuyu's eyes nevertheless were blinded. A profoundly deep curve spread across the corner of her lips. Gathering the last of her strength, the lance continuously swept forth. Lin Yingmei remained indifferent, far colder than that thousand-year black ice. Her whole body's aggression had a completely opposite change. Her figure arrived before Lu Yuyu, the spear fighting back. Passing through the ice-cold light the weapon emitted, Lu Yuyu could clearly see Lin Yingmei, but transmitting from the other side of the spear really was not a prideful determination or fury. Rather, there was an impenetrable serenity, and a kind of calm that was as if she was lifting weights. The true Phoenix realm Lu Yuyu already was unable to match Lin Yingmei's battle rhythm. This is interesting. Lu Yuyu lifted her gaze. Her eyes looked at Su Xing, uttering a low chuckle as she launched a wildly swelling assault. Lin Yingmei took several steps, whirling as if she was dancing, sprinkling chunks of ice. Lu Yuyu's silhouette was instantly in front of Lin Yingmei. She slashed without leaving any leeway, and in the midst of a shattering sound, Lin Yingmei seemed to have been struck. Her figure was ripped apart, subsequently vanishing. A soft laugh came from behind her, and Lin Yingmei suddenly appeared. Lu Yuyu's reactions were extremely quick. She spun around and blocked, a firelight streaking across the lance. At the same time she retreated. How could she have anticipated that the girl would raise her arm? Ice-cold killing intent flowed out from the crack between Lin Yingmei's fingers. Lu Yuyu's surroundings froze. Not good. Lu Yuyu felt grave danger. Lin Yingmei disappeared, and reappeared not even half a second later. This time, Lin Yingmei's spear stabbed into Lu Yuyu's body. The extremely cold spear penetrated her outer layer of skin, penetrating deeply into her bones and organ systems. Lu Yuyu grit her teeth. Shouting, she shook Lin Yingmei while she still lived, but although Lin Yingmei withdrew, the majestic star's attack was not done yet. Several streams of cold wind streamed around Lu Yuyu's body in succession. A kind of extreme chill seeped into her soul, and Lu Yuyu felt her body incapable of budging. This is over. The young girl flashed by, and when she appeared, she had already ducked away from Lu Yuyu's line of sight. A bone-chilling voice pervaded the air. The palace, the mountain, and the sky all froze. Everything froze, even thought itself. Lu Yuyu stared dumbstruck at this cold spear that had run through her chest. The nearby Lin Yingmei's scorching hot breath was clearly visible. That pair of impressive, arousing ice spirit eyes filled Lu Yuyu with moving charm. Everything is over. Lu Yuyu muttered. Following Lin Yingmei pulling back her spear, Strength Star Jade Qilan's body disintegrated, turning into a trace of true spirit that disappeared into the distance. Lin Yingmei looked in the direction of Maiden Mountain. Her ice-blue hair slowly regained its glossy black color, and the ice and snow surrounding the majestic star's body also slowly subsided. A wide chest brought Lin Yingmei into his embrace. In the world of ice and snow, it carried a particular warmth. "Young master," Lin Yingmei whispered, losing all of her strength. "Wife, rest for a bit." Su Xing deep kissed her. So incredible, Guardian Star Su Jingshu drew in a breath. That was the majestic star's earth rank technique. Even Su Jingshu, who was overconfident beyond reason, did not have a perfect chance to face an earth rank. Little me, Humi pondered, her beautiful brow furrowed. She truly did not expect that the Purple Thunder Monster's party would surprisingly actually topple the first overlord. "Little me, what do we do?" Su Ning asked her. Now, the Purple Thunder Monsters group had gone through the 10 great sects encirclement of the Bright Moon Longevity Palace and the First Overlord. They were already completely drained, arrows at the end of their path. Humi believed that she could take the advantage if she acted now, but this advantage was completely meaningless. The Purple Thunder Monster possessed the Jade Pendant and could flee as he pleased. If she was unable to definitively kill him, it was actually unwise to start a feud. Let alone that the Purple Thunder Monster's companions were honestly too strange. Heaven knew what other trump cards they had. For the first time, Humi did not have confidence. What made the Fairy of the Purple Firmament Immortal Palace even more cautious was that Gong Kai Wei and Xiu both stood at the Purple Thunder Monster's side, in spite of the life or death of the Star Masters. Humi did not understand their conduct, giving rise to curiosity within her heart. There is a mystery within. Perhaps joining the Purple Thunder Monster is not bad, but Humi sees that the Purple Thunder Monster is a lecher, and Su Ning. Let us go. Humi made her decision. Su Jingshu looked at the Lin Yingmei laying against Su Xing's chest, envious and resentful, her heart brooding. Next time, your servant will accompany you. Humi manifested purple smoke, and then she dissipated away from this place. Wu Xinjie watched that purple smoke, actually somewhat curious. Xinjie. Wu Xiao had also long monitored Humi. When she noticed that their counterpart had suddenly departed, she was somewhat astonished. Xiu perhaps was forced back to the immortal's abode by her. That female cultivator is considerably bright. We cannot be neglectful. Wu Xinjie smiled. Yingmei, Su Xing, are you all right? The other girls stepped up and asked with concern. Su Xing nodded to express his agreement. He looked around the ice-cold Bright Moon Longevity Palace. He did not expect the situation would change to this degree. Never expected Maiden Mountain's trial unexpectedly would be an overlord who came down the mountain. We truly were too careless. Wu Xinjie shook her head, guilt emerging in her heart. Yes. Su Xing agreed. Who could have thought that Maiden Mountain's trial was unexpectedly to dispatch past overlords? This practically was the cheat of cheats. Every single one of the past overlords was true Phoenix realm, and with this kind of realm, it was no exaggeration to say they were unhindered. However, this counted as thoroughly bad luck. Originally, they thought they would only have to face the 10 great sects encirclement in the Bright Moon Longevity Palace. How could they have ever foreseen that an overlord would unexpectedly choose this opportunity? Back on topic, those 7 rainbow lights that came out of Maiden Mountain was no more than a short few dozen days ago. According to Wu Xinjie's reckoning, she thought that they still had at least this 1 month. The next overlord cannot be ignored. Xinjie shall go research clearly the past Star Duel's materials for countermeasures, so as to avoid encountering this kind of unexpected matter. Wu Xinjie muttered, already considering their next plans. Beginning from now to before the 3 heavenly books, all Star Masters would exploit every kind of opportunity and training to expand their own strength, to make their Star Generals comprehend Earth rank, and the White Tiger territory that no one ever gone to would be the place everyone sought. However, before this, there was still the treasure banquet. This banquet that occurs once every 50 years was the carnival day for each cultivator. N. Gong Kaiwei, many thanks to you for this. Su Xing said to Gong Kaiwei. The Insuan who was currently healing Gong Kaiwei curiously asked, Lady Kaiwei, you seem to have been Supercluster Peak a few days ago? Now you are Super Void stage. Has Insuan misremembered? Su Xing was choked upon hearing this. This progress was rather too fast. Princess Kaiwei has perhaps ingested the 1,000-year tears. Wu Xinji guessed. Gong Kaiwei nodded. There was nothing to hide. To mention this topic was timely. Gong Kaiwei had inherited Zhu Sha's magic circles, so she was considerably proficient at generating array arts. Before she went to the palace of Empress Hua, she investigated, and afterwards, she inadvertently broke through an array to realize the secret of the palace of Empress Hua. Once, a transforming star of annihilation-level cultivator entered the palace of Empress Hua and did not reappear ever since after he obtained the 1,000-year tears. Gong Kaiwei surmised that he did not come out after the palace of Empress Hua was sealed shut, borrowing the palace to refine the 1,000-year tears. Thus, Gong Kaiwei did not vie for those 1,000-year tears like the others but instead went in search of his. Her labors were not fruitless, for she actually broke through the concealment array and found them. After hearing Gong Kaiwei's encounter, Wu Xinjie truly was envious. Yan Yizhen had taken many 1,000-year tears from last time, but though these 1,000-year tears were very good, they were too difficult to refine. This was completely dependent on moral character, and even Insuan the efficacious star divine physician was defeated several dozen times. In addition, for the 1,000-year tears to be able to make a supercluster peak cultivator even jump to supervoid early stage. Perhaps those 1,000-year tears' age was considerably old. Even if Insuan could refine the 1,000-year tears, if it was not for the age, she could not have advanced by leaps and bounds like Gong Kaiwei. No wonder the knowledge star was impressed. Have you gathered the longevity steel? Gong Kaiwei asked. Su Xing's hand beckoned. That longevity steel that Lu Yuyu had obtained then came to his hand. 9 longevity steels, with Shiyu's one that was missing. I still have to go to the Black Turtle territory to bring Shiyu back. Su Xing pondered. Everyone knew 11 Yu's matters in the Black Turtle territory. To let her stay in the tiger's den alone, he could not be at ease at all. Wu Xinjie and the other girls did not oppose at all. Right, Gong Kaiwei. Do you have any other things? Want to go together with me? Once we collect the 9 longevity steels, we can actually cultivate the longevity cultivation method together. If you do, Su Xing asked. Huh? Gong Kaiwei was astonished. Liked it? Su Xing's words could be said to have rippled Gong Kaiwei's tranquil heart like a stone thrown into a pond. What did you say? Slight fluster appeared in Gong Kaiwei's tone. Let's train in the longevity cultivation method together. I should properly thank you at any rate. Su Xing said matter-of-factly. Gong Kaiwei's eyes slightly widened. She thought she had misheard, this is but the longevity secret art. This was the thing that Liangshan continent's countless people dreamed of obtaining. How could the immortal hero princess restrain herself? I know. Su Xing nodded. What longevity cultivation method? He was far from feeling as shocked about it as she did, but he felt that since this capability could extend life energy, sharing it with Gong Kaiwei and the other girls was no issue. Just as Gong Kaiwei was hesitating, suddenly at this moment, a clap of thunder rolled on the horizon. Thousands of cavalrymen galloped along the earth. Su Xing looked over. Their power was vast. Upon fluttering banners, each and every one was emblazoned with a large, Gong, character. Seeing this battle formation, everyone promptly stretched their minds taut. However, upon seeing that Gong character, Gong Kaiwei's expression changed. If Su Xing did not remember things wrong, this army ought to be Prince Feng Wu's troops. The Bright Moon Longevity Palace was under Prince Feng Wu's jurisdiction. It was not strange for him to come. As expected, when the cavalry drew near, the leading general cupped his fist. All of the officers then deferentially said, "We pay respects to Princess." "General Hua. Why have you come?" Gong Kaiwei wrinkled her brow. "The prince knows of the Bright Moon Longevity Palace's matters. We request that Princess and this young lord go before him for a report," that General Hua said. "Su Xing, there is no need for you to go. Kaiwei fears father merely wants to know what happened here," Gong Kaiwei said. Su Xing shook his head and smiled, "There's no harm in seeing him. I've reduced the Bright Moon Longevity Palace into this appearance, so there must always be an explanation about it." In actuality, Su Xing was quite curious about Gong Kaiwei's father. This young lord understands the reason. This general cannot thank you enough. General Hua smiled and breathed a sigh of relief. To invite these fiend stars already left him very frightened and on edge, but the prince's orders were absolute. Still, he had never expected this man to be so easily convinced. Seeing that the princess and he had a relationship that could be said to be intimate, General Hua smiled somewhat ambiguously. Gong Kaiwei wrinkled her brow, but she said nothing more. "Wanyue, will you go together with us?" Su Xing asked Hua Wanyue. The hero star's complexion was not particularly good. She only glanced at Su Xing coldly. "Do not forget the bargain you and I have." Su Xing laughed in embarrassment. He did not expect that the hero star would still be concerned about the matter to settle life and death at Bright Moon Longevity Palace. "Don't tell me you really are insisting on, elder sister Wanyue, can we not star duel?" And Suan smiled. "This is my duty. However, since you have been targeted by the past overlords, I will set it aside for the time being. My star duel with you is nowhere near as pressing as your battles with the overlords. After your trial is completely finished, I will star duel with you for sure." Hua Wanyue spoke with an iron tone, each word not compromising in the slightest, but Su Xing nevertheless heard a graceful tone within. Wu Xinjie and the others could not help but smile. After Su Xing left, the black clouds in the sky cleared, revealing two figures. "It appears that there was no need for you to appear and turn the tide, Chai Ling." Konghou mockingly laughed. Noble star little whirlwind Chai Ling held the Persian cat against her chest, pensive. The past overlords. For Maiden Mountain to surprisingly have this kind of trial against Xinger, this is truly absurd. Konghou pursed her lips, casting at her a sidelong glance. That hero star little Li Guang has already begun to follow alongside Su Xing. Do you not feel this scene appears familiar? If you are any slower, your share certainly will be the smallest. Chai Ling was taken aback, and her face turned red. What is elder sister Konghou saying? This palace does not place value in attending to Xinger. Your humble servant did not say anything about attending to him. Konghou laughed. Chai Ling was speechless. Just as Konghou was about to speak, suddenly, the woman's frivolous gaze flashed with a strict glint. Konghou's figure was still where she was, but the air already transmitted an explosion. The cloud layer broke apart, and a majestic woman of glistening gold slowly appeared. She was Thousand Pagoda Star Chao Gai. "I trust you have been well since we last met, Konghou." Chao Gai's eyebrows rose. "Humph." Konghou grunted coldly. Without seeing her make any movements, Chao Gai suddenly felt a pressure pounce at her. The Thousand Pagoda Star did not dare be neglectful. She raised the heaven-earth dark yellow Thousand Pagoda, which immediately emitted Buddhist light, dyeing the 100-li glacier a golden hue. With a crashing sound, there was an unstoppable imposing aura. Instantly, with Konghou as the center becoming a black hole, an insufferably arrogant wind pressure roared in all directions. The light broke. Chao Gai finally showed emotion. Her figure floated, and the heaven-earth dark yellow Thousand Pagoda was raised, suddenly expanding and smashing towards Konghou. The world moved, and this gentle strike seemed to split a mountain. Konghou caught it with her fists. Her clothes that were light as clouds fluttered, and her whole body resonated. Her beautiful figure brilliantly flew out. An incorporeal defense unfolded, and even if it was Chao Gai's full power defense, her feet still could not avoid showing being pushed back. Konghou, you are too excitable. Do you take action despite that noble star's delicate body? Chao Gai was grim, her finger pointing. In the air, a golden lotus manifested. A giant golden Buddhist lotus Dharma characteristics appeared behind Chao Gai, its power unfolding. Those powers that were invisible to the naked eye were just like a death god's talons. The already shredded and destroyed halls were torn into even smaller pieces. The mountains and rivers were shaken, and even the sky showed signs of being torn in half. There is no need to worry about this palace then. Chai Ling's gentle smile pierced through the baleful aura. The red ink iron certificate was on her. It released a resplendent light that protected Chai Ling. No matter how tyrannical Chao Gai's attacks were, no matter how vicious Konghou's attacks were, the noble star would not be harmed in the slightest. Your servant has not used the dragon subduing unbounded, too, in a long time. Konghou smiled, suddenly throwing a punch. This gentle punch made people see not even the slightest bit of strength, but as it turned out, it was a frantic power that tore at one's organs. The heaven-earth dark yellow pagoda was stopped in midair by an unseen force. The 1,000 pagoda's Buddhist light flickered, like a candle flame. Chao Gai was stunned. Gritting her teeth, she could only summon the heaven-earth dark yellow 1,000 pagoda to her front to act as a barrier. The urgent shaking was more fierce and noisy than at any point in time. Each attack made Chao Gai feel a sort of heavy pressure. Her body could not help but be involuntarily pushed back. Not a moment later, she had been moved back several dozen meters. These several dozen meters appeared short, but to the Chao Gai who could move about unhindered in Liangshan continent, this was inconceivable. Bang! Konghou's dragon subduing unbounded was extremely defiant of natural order. Without any excess, its movements were simple to the point of being in a natural state, but it was this force that made even Chao Gai grip with cold sweat. An incorporeal power surged like a river from that fist. The first wave's attack power ended, but the second waves continued to unfold. The Dharma characteristics, the golden lotus flower, everything was washed clean away, defeated without exception. Chao Gai finally was a bit unable to persist. With a boom, the 1,000 pagoda's Buddhist light completely extinguished, and all of its power eroded away. Chao Gai's eyes flashed with a trace of the intention to not concede defeat. Suddenly, the faded Buddhist light magnified. Turning over her palm, she exhibited the universe and the world, suddenly manifesting the 10,000 techniques of the Buddhist kingdom that met the dragon subduing unbounded head-on. Palm of Buddhist Kingdom. Chai Ling immediately recognized the background of this power, and her heart was shaken. This kind of ability was one that created void worlds, true Dharma characteristics. This simply was an invincible technique. Now, Chai Ling had no choice but to be prudent. Elder sister Konghou, it is best to let this go. Do not lower yourself to the same level as Maiden Mountain's watchman. Chai Ling said. Her imposing aura instantly vanished. Konghou retracted her fist, relaxed, and returned to Chai Ling's side, but a glance at Konghou's expression showed it was not friendly at all. The noble star speaks correctly. We are not the enemy. Chao Gai smiled. Similarly, she withdrew the palm of Buddhist Kingdom. You make it sound so pleasant. For your Maiden Mountain to unexpectedly dispatch the past overlords to face Su Xing, what star duels do those even count as? Maiden Mountain has behaved quite despicably. This palace is truly ashamed. Chai Ling sneered. Chao Gai shook her head. Maiden Mountain's trials naturally have meaning. If he can make it through this checkpoint, you will be grateful in the future. Ridiculous. Konghou, you believe yourself to be unequaled under heaven, but how can you break that Maiden Mountain's barrier? Chao Gai said. Konghou's relaxed expression chilled. Maiden Mountain, the heaven-supporting pillar. Countless cultivators had tried in the past to pass through that barrier to glimpse the true face of Maiden Mountain, but in reality, even Emperor Liang was merely a trifle before Maiden Mountain, an incomparable sigh. Even you are unable to do so. You ought to know that even if you were at Maiden Mountain, you cannot stir trouble. Chao Gai said. This one shall say no more. Whatever happens in these star duels, let us see to what stage that man can reach. Just what are these star duels? Does a flock of major characters find amusement in watching us kill ourselves? Chai Ling was furious. Noble star who is outside of the star duels, there is no need to feel so indignant at injustice. If you truly wish to know, then join the star duels, and you can then naturally understand. Chao Gai smiled. She gazed at the horizon, and her figure slowly vanished. The world was left with a calm. Star duels. This palace has decided to participate this time. Chai Ling's eyes flashed with a grim glint. Wait and see. 1,000 li away. In a tranquil bamboo forest, a comfortable bamboo house. A man was above the bamboo forest. He lifted his head to look into the far distance. The sky was filled with red clouds that were currently slowly dimming, as if it was sunset. The radiance was disappearing, leaving desolation. The man handsomely smiled and slightly sighed. Then, he counted on his fingers, understanding the situation, mostly. He pondered a bit and dropped into the forest. Passing through the quiet woods, a bamboo house revealed itself. The man walked in, just happening to spot a young woman with long green hair laying atop a table. Her expression appeared somewhat lazy. She lay there dispirited and downcast. Zhu Qing. 3, the man gently called. The woman did not answer. Zhu Qing, next up is our turn to take the stage. The man smiled, speaking warmly. Are you very tired? Fine then, let us rest a bit. However, we still need to go. Perhaps when we accomplish the mission, we can be liberated. The man warmly said. The girl laying on the table seemed to be asleep. Her slim jade arms finally moved. The girl turned her head. She had bright eyes and white teeth, glittering and touching. The girl merely looked at him and softly said, I am so tired, I do not want to participate in the star duels. But these matters pertain to our wish, the man said. Zhu Qing, could it be you want to give up? The man's brow twisted. The Zhu Qing girl did not say anything. Her gaze passed through beyond the man. She stared directly into the bamboo forest. In the wind, the bamboo leaves fell like butterflies, quietly dancing. White Tiger Territory, Begging Spirit Temple. Grandfather Li was currently fanning himself as he sat, watching the winds and clouds. Zijin was nearby as always. The woman was very apathetic. Several rays of light descended around Grandfather Li. Shijiu Ying and Sung Feng were already nearby, neither saying anything. They each glanced at one another and sat on 2 seats in the Begging Spirit Temple, closing their eyes in contemplation. Their star generals were also nearby. The Begging Spirit Temple was one of the White Tiger Territory's ancient ruins. Inside was a 7 spirits profound array. Its highest place was like a hand raised to the sky, able to look out in all directions and even spot the 8 desolates through the ages. Not long after, a freezing cold escape light flew towards this place. A young woman as beautiful as an ice sculpture descended onto the top of the temple. She was Han Bing. A moment later, another 2 escape lights arrived in succession. One was a brown-haired woman, the other a tall and sturdy man. They were Xia Lao, too, and Xiang Qinxing. Upon seeing them, Grandfather Li opened his eyes, and Shijiu Ying and the others stood from their seats in greeting. You took some time. Shijiu Ying asked apathetically. Did you go play? Xia Lao glanced at Shijiu Ying as if she was looking at a rock, not saying anything. Xiang Qinxing did not mind him either, answering to Grandfather Li. This time, Xia Lao and I paid noble star little whirlwind Chai Jin a visit, but this Chai Jin declined us without so much as saying a word. Xiang Qinxing summarized. Xia Lao nodded, confirming his report from the side. What a noble star little whirlwind. Truly, she does not recognize what is good for her. Shijiu Ying patted the chair, imposingly smiling. We will go to the Great Circle Castle immediately, kill her into a river of blood, leave not a single chicken or dog. Everyone looked to Grandfather Li. Evidently, he had the greatest authority among the White Tiger's 7 spirit stars. Grandfather Li still gracefully waved his fan, making a fan dance. Chai Jin has the red ink iron certificate. We have no way to get her. Destroy the Great Circle Castle's influence. Chai Jin is unlikely to get far by herself. We can then become the ones that steal away the Millennial Star General's assets, have even greater advantage in the star duels. Shi Jiaoying was very adamant. No rush. Facing Chai Jin is something in the future. Zhang Feng advised. The top priority is to make our White Tiger 7 spirit stars whole with the last fire spirit. The White Tiger 7 spirit stars not only gathered for the 7 stars assembly, the 7 spirits array could not be missing anyone. Mentioning this, little conqueror Zhou Zhiyun sneered, where is that Mia Shangqing? Did he finally die? We encountered the majestic star and hero star. We were no match. Zhang Feng gently explained. Death suits him. Everyone smiled. Zhou Zhiyun had already been sick of looking at Mia Shangqing. For this kind of disgusting bastard that killed a sister willing to sign a contract, if it was not for her master's orders prohibiting her, the little conqueror would have done away with him. Now, hearing that he had been destroyed by the majestic star, everyone ought to be celebrating without exception. Star generals were like this, so Zhang Feng was helpless. The treasure banquet is upon us. Lacking the fire spirit bodes ill. Xiang Chenqing said in a low voice. No need to worry, grandfather has already selected someone. Zijin spoke. Shen Jingwei, 3, you can come out now. Grandfather Li put away the fan. When he spoke, a burst of flame descended onto the platform from the sky, transforming into an elegant man. Your servant is Shen Jingwei. Greetings, everyone. Shen Jingwei cupped his fist. Next to him appeared a woman. Shen Jingwei introduced her, this is your servant's star general, Yan Linglong. Han Bing flipped out the birth treasure outline, grunting with a seeming jeer. Star position, strong star, 5, star name, Yan Shun, 6, nickname, multicolored tiger, 7, true name, Yan Linglong rank, 50th star weapon, heavenly tiger following heaven saber, 8, 4 star, star beast, beautiful tiger, 9, realm, 10,000 technique second stage innate skill, roasting heat 5 elements, fire yellow rank technique, tiger hissing mountain forest, 10, earth rank technique, slay for the devil, 11, current status, Shen Jingwei, contractor, detailed materials. Only 10,000 technique second stage, and the ranked 50th, mediocre, nondescript strong star Yan Shun. She really appeared unremarkable. But it is not like you have a choice, do you? Shen Jingwei said in embarrassment. This fellow Shen Jingwei is of fire tiger beast cultivation, having signed a contract long ago. In the current star duels, to find a fire spirit is already not too likely. What do the rest of you think? Grandfather Li asked faintly. Although this fire spirit was lacking in strength, in any case, they finally had a star master to complete their 7 spirits array. Since this is the case, we welcome Brother Shen's induction. Zhang Feng said with friendly indication. Just at this moment, an extremely sarcastic voice came from the horizon. Such a weak, little fire spirit. As far as you people are concerned, this is a complete burden. It would be better to leave him be. Shen Jingwei's face changed. He shouted, madman from who knows where, you do not know the immensity of heaven and earth. Everyone lifted their heads to look at the sky. Another fire cloud flew over. This fire cloud dispersed to reveal an odd man with red hair and eyes wearing a red robe. From head to toe, he was a completely deep red. Where did this human come from? Shi Jiaoying stirred a savage grin and was about to kill. They looked. Although this man was very strange, he did not have any demon chi upon him at all. Clearly, he did not come from a demon beast. Grandfather Li spoke at this time. Why does your distinguished self not announce your name? Give some indication. Your servant is surnamed Yi. 12, given name Futu. 13. Your servant knows that the White Tiger territory has 7 spirit heroes that are still lacking a fire spirit. What a coincidence. Your servant just so happens to cultivate a fire-style cultivation method that can match everyone's 7 spirit array. Yi Futu slightly smiled. At this time, a white light flashed beside him. A young girl that looked about 10 years old appeared. That young girl appeared incomparably adorable, like a delicate doll, with large eyes, long hair, and a figure clad in white armor. Her exquisite build would make anyone want to go cherish her. The star crest on her forehead displayed her unmistakable identity as a star general. In spite of this girl's petite and delicate appearance, her big eyes nevertheless emitted a strict and severe aggression, intimidating at first glance. Shen Jingwei and his star general Yan Linglong showed grim expressions. You, a human, wants to join us? Shen Jingwei laughed. He had heard a big joke. And why not? Your servant alone can defeat all of you. Yi Futu appeared very amicable, but the words he said were nevertheless not so friendly. Shen Jingwei's expression turned very unsightly. The others looked at each other, then they placed their gazes upon Grandfather Li. Why not let us witness him for a moment? Grandfather Li said. The others did not object, for they actually were curious about what this man could do. Linglong, you go get rid of him. Shen Jingwei disdained to think that their teamwork was inferior, but upon seeing this Yi Futu's cultivation unexpectedly was supervoid stage, he did not dare be careless. Your servant shall accompany you. Strong Star Yan Linglong shouted, fast and direct. The heavenly tiger following Heaven's saber slashed with a blue light, firing in a perfectly straight line. Yi Futu was tranquil and calm. He knew a star general's might, and he certainly did not want to experience this full power slash. Also, this Yi Futu was considerably well versed in battle. He leapt several paces, making use of air as springboards, jumping high up. A dark red flying sword flew out at the same time. Yan Linglong wanted to end things quickly and did not hesitate to use her dark rank technique. Her attack became even more exaggerated. Several thousand blue saber chi erupted from the saber's edge, just like blossoming fireworks, becoming a rain of blue lasers. The dark red flying swords were easily stopped. Yi Futu hovered in the air, flipped, and then borrowed the powerful recoil to weave through the rain of blue saber lights. Dark red sword ring. Suddenly, everyone was stunned. The dark red flying swords of Yi Futu became a ring that revolved around his whole body. The man soared. Without waiting to land this time, he directly punched. His target was Yan Linglong's body. But Yi Futu clearly had far underestimated the strong star's threat level. What his fist punched through was unexpectedly an illusion. With a hoarse voice, Yi Futu's brows rose. Die. Yan Linglong already appeared behind him. Her speed was very fast. Completely without any warning. Yi Futu spotted the young woman's chilling expression. This indeed was an exceptional star general. Perhaps with a bit more discipline, she could have fortune, but seeing the blade's surface and interior seemed to bear countless galaxies, a saber light rocketed out from within. Yi Futu had never thought that he would have such a close confrontation at this time. For a time, he was completely powerless in the middle of the sparkling light. With a groan, this saber light directly struck Yi Futu. The dark red sword rings broke. Yi Futu felt his whole body hurt as if it was on fire. His mind rang and was about to explode. Suddenly, he collapsed. Nicely done. Shen Jingwei was excited. Yan Linglong sneered. Yi Futu took a deep breath, suddenly curling his lips into a sinister grin. Yi Futu's whole body was abruptly enveloped in flame. The dark red flying swords gathered behind him to form a pair of fire wings, aggressively unfolding. Then, immediately afterwards, he slaughtered multicolored tiger Yan Linglong. The power of his assault was extraordinary. Each punch and kick left no leeway, a suffocating encroachment. Like a hunt. The attack that encroached like fire struck Yan Linglong, catching her unprepared. The multicolored tiger was beaten. She groaned endlessly. This time, even the white tiger's 7 spirits were considerably shocked. Their voices were no longer as full of contempt as before. Just what the hell is the background of this man? What has he cultivated to unexpectedly be able to face a star general? How could Yan Linglong be trampled over? After enduring through Yifutu's first wave of overwhelming attacks, she already was completely infuriated. She instantly vanished, her swiftness astonishing. Yifutu nevertheless seemed to have become a puppet, a battle puppet. The dark red flying sword rings spun, their flames domineering, chasing to the side without any delay, as if they had already caught the scent of their target. As expected, Yan Linglong appeared. Yifutu's attack this time was executed exceptionally again. His fire wings opened at the same time, becoming sharp swords that slashed. Yan Linglong straddled a beautiful tiger. Amidst the tiger's hiss, her whole body's sky blue light intensified. Her star crest flickered, and her imposing aura seemed to expand. Courting death. Yan Linglong was furious. She spurred the beautiful tiger into charging over. Her powerful rush combined with her star beast's attack, and even Yifutu's flying swords died in peace. Yifutu was continuously pushed back, instantly suppressed. Shen Jingwei was delighted, as if he spotted victory. Yan Linglong's attack was increasingly vigorous, her saber light emerging in numerous layers, encircling him. At this time, Yifutu's star maiden spoke. "Futu, are you done playing yet? I want to play, too." Rumble. Yifutu was repelled. Blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. The man looked at the girl. "Bingxin, 14, everything will be over soon." Arrogant. "Die now, you." Yan Linglong grunted, once again using her dark technique. Yifutu smiled. His wrist flipped, and a beautiful red feather fan appeared. Everyone changed. 7 feathers fan. Shen Jingwei shouted out, "Horse." 7 feathers fan. Yifutu wore an elegant smile. The 7 feathers in his hand were gorgeous as they shuddered. Flames of multicolored light flowed. This 7 feathers fan was forged from the quintessential tail feathers of 7 kinds of divine beasts, the prehistoric fire swan, fire phoenix, 2, black gold bird, clinging heavenly vermilion jian and others. It was a very powerful fire-type spirit treasure, ranked number 8 on the spirit list. Zhao Heng originally had qualifications with just the counterfeit 7 feathers karma fire fan. The 7 feathers fan's might was obvious. Not one of the white tiger demon beasts had expected this human to surprisingly have this prehistoric spirit treasure. Each and every one of them showed shock. Shen Jingwei shouted, unable to sit by idly any longer. His body turned into flame, becoming a flaming tiger that pounced up. Yifutu shook the fan. The 7 feathers let out a blood-red light. The flame light's flow became a giant flaming yuan. This yuan unfolded wings of fire, as if they covered the sky. Multicolored tiger Yan Linglong raised her saber to block. The yuan bird swooped down onto Yan Linglong. The flame's flowing light immediately wrapped her up. Yifutu saw that before the fire yuan could take the upper hand, she sneered. The fire phoenixes sprung forth from the fan at the same time. The 2 giant fire birds' pincer attacked, and heaven and earth seemed to burn. Even the white tiger's 7 spirit stars below were stirred, with no choice but to release barriers and forbid dances to block the Fein wind. This man actually has some assets. Shi Jiaoying gloomily said. With the 7 feathers fan, he does have the qualifications to become our fire spirit. Zhang Feng smiled, casting a glance at Grandfather Li. This old man showed a kind of profoundly mysterious smile. The tiger hissed, the flames broke. Shi Jingwei manifested his true body. The broiling heat flame tiger forcibly stopped the 7 feathers fan. Master. Yan Linglong's complexion changed. This 7 feathers fan's might was inexhaustible. Only 3 prehistoric sacred beasts were enough to make Shen Jingwei stuck in a dilemma: Yi Futu, die. Yan Linglong took up the heavenly tiger following Heaven Saber. The saber emitted a piercing blue light. Yi Futu's star general could not longer stand by. The girl's figure was fine, her wide cape and white armor rising up. Despite the girl's petite appearance, her speed was nevertheless oddly quick. Her wrist flipped, revealing an enormous sword. This sword and the girl were incongruous, for the sword was far larger than the girl's entire body. The sword's tip was chilling, its blade decorated with countless golden dragon markings. 5 stars flitted about, their radiance unmatched. This large sword was handled as easily as a toy in the girl's hands. 4 dragons spun around the hilt, extremely beautiful. Silver Snow Dragon Abyss. 3. Sung Feng was stunned. I am not waiting anymore. Bingxin spat out this sentence. She rose steeply, turning into a white light. Yi Futu activated a sword chant at the same time, arranging a sword array. Multicolored tiger Yan Linglong's saber sliced, cutting against Bingxin's Silver Snow Dragon Abyss, but it was battered into bewilderment in less than 2 moves by Bingxin. In terms of martial force, she completely was not an opponent. Not good, Linglong, we are fleeing now. Shen Jingwei was terrified. He already knew that he had run into trouble and was about to use the jade pendant to escape. As Shen Jingwei used the Liangshan jade pendant, Yi Futu was unable to do anything. Just as they were about to flee, suddenly, a clap of thunder fell from the sky, the rumbling noise falling onto Shen Jingwei's body. In the blink of an eye, Shen Jingwei's true body broiling heat flame tigers was boomed into extinguishing its flame. In another instant, he was destroyed under this heavenly thunder. Jingwei. Yan Linglong wailed. Little sister, please go back. Bingxin immediately returned Yan Linglong with a swing of her sword. The entire process was no more than an instant. Yi Futu stored the 7 feathers fan and the sword array. Bingxin grasped her sword and stood by his side. Those naive and guiltless eyes stared at the old man on the begging spirit temple. Grandfather Li folded his fan. He gestured gently as the wind, yet that thunderbolt just now had been called forth by none other than him. Yi Futu gazed at this old man with a heart full of astonishment. His face retracted his previous grin. If that thunderbolt just now had been directed at him, the consequences were indeed too horrible to comprehend. Is Senior willing to have faith in your servant? Yi Futu cupped his fist. What say you? Grandfather Li inquired. Since Grandfather Li had acted to destroy Shen Jingwei, the answer was very obvious. Shijiaoying was not happy at all with this human, but he could only acquiesce. Let alone that this man's star general was an earthly star 4 heavenly kings, just the star general alone was indeed far more powerful than Shen Jingwei. Even Shijiaoying did not have the confidence to be able to face Yi Futu. Sung Feng laughed, amicably saying, Then welcome, Brother Futu, to our collaboration, let us move forward together. You flatter me. Yi Futu descended. However, we require all of your information. Xiang Qinxing made a picky request. A strange cultivator in possession of the 7 feathers fan had appeared in the White Tiger territory. This request was within Yi Futu's expectations. The man nodded. Bingxin. Han Bing flipped through the birth treasure outline, pensive. Gong Caiwei's father, Prince Feng Wu, was quite an attractive and charming man. His face was as distinct as a sculpture, his sharp and clear-cut face exceptionally handsome. His appearance seemed unconventional, but the light his eyes carelessly exposed made people not dare underestimate him. With a head of jet-black hair, a pair of slender peach blossom eyes were nevertheless beneath his sharp brows, filled with passion, making people feel as if they would be sucked in if they were not careful. He had a high nose, moderately thick red lips that currently nevertheless rippled with a dizzying smile. Gong Fengting was Emperor Liang's best friend. When Emperor Liang originally seized Jiangshan and established his military exploits, he himself naturally was a cultivator. Furthermore, he was a supervoid sword saint. Su Xing could be considered as being able to understand why Gong Kai-wei was a sword cultivator since she was little. Perhaps she had received some of her father's influence. Everyone, please sit. Gong Fengting looked at Su Xing and his beauties, his eyes showing surprise. Although he had heard rumors that the Purple Thunder monster was dispatched by Maiden Mountain with many top-notch star generals in his following, when he actually saw it for himself, he still felt disbelief. Gong Fengting already arranged a feast. In actuality, Su Xing was not in any mood to drink wine right now. Gong Sun Huang had fallen into the star nest, and Shiyu had returned to the Black Turtle territory. Yan Yizhen and the other girls were heavily wounded, making his mood not good at all. The reason why he had agreed to see Gong Fengting was no more than to see the face of Gong Caiwei's father. Gong Kai-wei and Su Xing were precisely the same. Evidently, they did not like any sort of dinner parties. Father, if you have something then quickly say it. Su Xing does not have any time to spare on a party. Gong Kai-wei answered for Su Xing. Her speech was considerably frank, making Gong Fengting laugh aloud. I know you Star Masters fight for even the last second, that time is very precious, but do you not have time to appreciate just one sword dance? Gong Fengting clapped his hands. A crowd of women wearing classical long gowns poured in like fishes from the door. Their hands held swords, and their attire was quite elegant. The leader was a beautiful female student. This Emperor's Court sword dance was once shown before at the Ling Yan Princess' 18th birthday. I am very fond of it. Other than the star duels, you Star Masters ought to relax when you have the time. Gong Fengting introduced. It was obvious that Gong Fengting was a fellow with pretensions about culture. Just the decorations of this palace made that clear. This hall's adornments, to its apparel, floorboards, every detail was full of rich appeal. The sword as a weapon dissolved into a dance, and it could be said that this was a wonderful composition. The young girls began to raise their swords and pace. The swords in the sword dance included single swords, dual swords, and swords fashioned after sabers. The single swords generally had tassels, and these tassels were rather long, about 1 meter. As they danced, sword and tassel, hardness and softness crossed to and fro, changing the sword dance constantly. They had gone through a long time of practice. The sword dancers' postures and movements were confident and orderly, appearing bright and gorgeous. The two main types of sword dance, standing sword, movements were quick and nimble. When at rest, their stances were steady and fine, filled with the feeling of status. Moving sword, movements were continuous and unending, like a long, roving dragon with head and tail following in succession, like moving clouds and flowing water, steady and strong. The match with the girls' delicate bodies was not only pleasing to the eye, those coldly glinting swords seemed even more like they could kill the enemy at any time. Su Xing wrinkled his brow. He originally had been about to speak, but upon seeing Lin Yingmei, Wu Xiao, and the others give rise to slight curiosity for the sword dance, he had not much to say. In actuality, to speak of the star duels star generals, leisure time like this could truly be counted on fingers. For the majority of their time, the star generals were all thinking of how to increase their own strength, constantly weaving in and out of every kind of danger. Although the sword dance was wonderful, it nevertheless was missing something. Kai-wei, it is so difficult for you to come back. Why not play a piece for your friend for your enjoyment? Gong Fengting toasted. Everyone's gazes turned to look at Gong Kai-wei. Gong Kai-wei was like snow and frost, nevertheless without any changes. Upon hearing her father's invitation, her brows slightly creased. She did not understand what her father was doing, but her relationship with her father had never been very close. Gong Kai-wei was disinclined to think this through, but upon second thought, she nodded in agreement, making a request. Only one song. Adjourn once done. This request made Gong Fengting helplessly smile. A pure white guzheng was moved to the center of the main hall that danced to the heavens. Shen Shijuan sat on the ground, her white sleeves honestly spry and lively. Gong Kai-wei sat on the ground, with clothes white as snow. Her fingers plucked, and suddenly, the guzheng let out a tremulous reverberation, as if it had returned to those ancient times of romance. The dancing women crowded the surroundings of the girl, assuming sword dance postures. The sword tips crowded together, cold light glistening. When Gong Kaiwei slowly plucked the first string, Gong Fengting's face had a similar emotion and sigh. Only then did Su Xing understand. It turned out that Gong Fengting's impressive formation was merely to listen to Gong Kaiwei play. However, Gong Kaiwei was indeed unmatched and outstanding. Her melodious mastery was exceptionally formidable. As far as the guzheng was concerned, she was entirely in her element. Regardless of Tuo, Pai, Go, Ti, Tiao, or Qiao, Luen, Yao, 5, or the other techniques, she used them casually and with ease. Her left hand's traditional techniques used rich vibrato and glissando, used beautiful and plain sound as the most important characteristics. The guzheng turned from faint to quick, the speed swift as a downpour, as if witnessing a battle between two sides. The sound moved heaven and earth, as if sending the roof tiles flying. In slow observance, there was the sound of a golden drum, swords, and crossbows, men and horses. Using just the sense of hearing, the beginning was straining, then frightening, the others felt this way. Then, this kind of surging sound slowly calmed, turning into something like a lover's melancholy. Drinking and chatting merrily, Gong Fengting next began to chat endlessly word after word with Su Xing. The topics were all-inclusive, ranging from the purple thunder monster to the bright moon longevity palace, 6, then to how he came to know Gong Kaiwei. Although the topics asked were strong in start, weak in finish, Su Xing still discerned that this man was making an indirect approach. So this is the famous majestic star, your distinguished self's first wife? Gong Fengting suddenly changed the topic. Precisely. Su Xing nodded. A crafty glint flashed past Gong Fengting's eyes. He suddenly looked to Wu Xiao and the other girls, asking, "Then I wonder how these ladies are ranked in your heart, Su Xing?" Clang clang. The guzheng came to a sudden stop. The hall was absolutely silent. Su Xing's brows rose. This was quite the poor question. There was a deathly stillness instantly in the hall. The air seemed to have frozen. Gong Caiwei's guzheng came to a spontaneous stop. The Shi Yuan who had originally been watching the sword dance was taken aback. Stowing her thoughts, she looked at Gong Fengting with great animosity. Gong Fengting's question was not at all evil in intent, but it sounded very improper. Clearly, he was saying the others were not as good as Lin Yingmei. Although he had always addressed Lin Yingmei as the first wife, the other beauties did not mind, but to place this question on the table for discussion, this was mostly displeasing. Everyone present stared at Su Xing in silence. Just as Wu Xinjie was about to come to Su Xing's aid, Su Xing extended a hand to stop her. Neither servile nor overbearing, he calmly answered, "The first." A tie for number 1. This answer was within Gong Fengting's expectations. Prince Fengwu hung a mocking smile. In fact, the reason why he was so aggressive still was due to some male jealousy. Even the Buddha would be unable to remain calm seeing Su Xing with so many star generals. Everyone together. Su raised his copper goblet, looked at all the beauties, smiling in reply. The beauties knowingly smiled. Hua Wanyue among them nevertheless was considerably awkward. She the hero star did not treat this man as her husband, however, Su Xing's answer made hero star Hua Wanyue somewhat stunned. Gong Fengting was at a loss, having not expected that Su Xing would reply this way. Astonishment flashed past his eyes, and he nodded in admiration. Well said. I shall toast you a cup. Su Xing, do not waste time. We are leaving. Gong Kaiwei rose. She looked coldly at her father, somewhat displeased with her father's conduct just then. Su Xing saw that time was nearly up. He nodded. Your servant still has other matters that cannot be delayed. Your Highness Prince, your servant shall take his leave. Prince Fengwu forced a smile. He scratched his nose in embarrassment, then next time, this king shall seek out Su Xing for a drink. N. Farewell. Su Xing left the palace, urging on his escape light and leaving with Gong Kai Wei at the same time. Instantly, they vanished beyond the heavens. Gong Fengting sent them off with his eyes, up until their figures disappeared. At this time, his advisor said, "Prince, are you letting the purple thunder monster leave like this? This purple thunder monster has just broken the Bright Moon Longevity Palace and may have obtained the longevity cultivation method." "And so what?" Gong Fengting pursed his lips, recovering his stern manner. The advisor was at a loss for words. Yes, so what? The other party had more than 10 star generals following him. Even the 10 great sects' encirclement had failed, so how could the trifling Prince Feng Wu's entire army compare? But it really is a pity for the longevity cultivation method to unexpectedly be obtained by the purple thunder monster. Kai Wei has a good relationship with him. This king does not feel it is a pity. Does Prince truly feel that purple thunder monster will let Miss Kai Wei go? Kai Wei will naturally understand. We need not worry. However, this king had just probed him, Prince Feng Wu said contemplatively. The result? What a good answer, everyone together. This king is very impressed, ha, ha. Water illusion fairy Xiyu opened her eyes. When she saw she was in her immortal's abode, she breathed a sigh of relief. She flipped out a dull gold steel. That tablet's golden characters swirled, glowing faintly, its spirit chi oppressive. The corner of Xiyu's lips could not help but smile. She communicated with the Feiyu inside the star nest. The boatman was still recovering. However, worried about Su Xing, Xiyu still prepared to not wait for Zhang Feiyu's recovery and exited the immortal's abode. After several flashes, an escape light flew over. Sister Xiyu, you have returned? This is truly too good, the headmaster has something to seek of you. A young girl dressed in blue silk happily said. This girl's name was Lan Tianyu, the only person in the illusion reality sect that Xiyu actually got along with. The headmaster is looking for me. Xiyu was surprised. Yes, something urgent. Xiyu's immortal abode was opened inside the illusion reality sect's ley line. Even if she herself were to force it, she could not open it. Her heart was somewhat nervous, but Xiyu had never disobeyed the headmaster's orders. Xiyu shall go. Illusion Reality Main Hall. The headmaster appeared as a grotesque old crone. Her body was stooped, her expression sunken, and her face was filled with wrinkles. Her eyes were like candle flames in the wind about to extinguish at any moment. However, her supercluster early-stage cultivation made people not dare look down on her. Just that old mother's soulless, too, moniker was enough to make people respect her. Lady Mother. Xiyu deferentially said. Everyone in the illusion reality sect addressed old Mother Soulless as Mother. At the very beginning, even Xiyu was somewhat unaccustomed, but in the end, she adjusted. Xiyu, you are finally willing to return. Old Mother Soulless hand held a hideous cane made of wood from the Chinese scholar tree. She spoke calmly, yet the air exhibited pressure. Xiyu has some matters to attend to and asks Mother to pardon. Xiyu sincerely answered. Since you have returned, then never mind. And the boatman? Why has she not come out to greet this old woman? Does she despise old bodies? Old Mother Soulless was unhappy. Xiyu said, Feiyu is injured and trapped in the star nest, unable to appear. Please forgive her, Mother. A slight sneer appeared in old Mother Soulless' eyes. This old woman hears that you and the purple thunder monster walked very close. Have you finally tasted suffering now? What kind of person is that purple thunder monster? Could it be you were not betrayed accompanying him? Could it be he sneak attacked Zhang Feiyu, and that is why you have returned? Old Mother Soulless had thought Xiyu had been deceived. She sneered, but she was also upset. Xiyu was unable to reply. If she mentioned the Bright Moon Longevity Palace affair, she was positive old Mother Soulless would turn hostile. She kept her silence. Old Mother Soulless merely treated 11 Yu's silence as acknowledgement, and her heart was even more pleased. Your following the Purple Thunder monster has made the Devil Star Palace very unhappy. This sect has received enormous pressure. This time, Great Saint Starkiller has died, and the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon has been inducted into the Devil Star Palace. This sect has decided to pair you with Holy Lord of Draconic Demon to complete the 7 Stars Assembly. The Devil Star Palace will confer to you two the art of Devil Star Dual Cultivation. When you two cultivate at the same time, you will certainly be able to ascend Maiden Mountain. Ha! Shiyu's face paled. What is Mother saying? Do you feel dissatisfied? Old Mother's soulless eyes were gloomy. No. Shiyu absolutely will not dual cultivate with Holy Lord of Draconic Demon and asks that Mother recant that promise. Shiyu emphatically replied. Old Mother's soulless scolded her, absolutely disgraceful. Shiyu, when you first fell into the netherworld, it was this sect that kindly sheltered you, that you have the name of Water Illusion Fairy. You dare violate this sect's orders? Shiyu's heart belongs to Su Xing. In this life and in this world, she will absolutely never betray him. 11 You spat blood. Wrong, wrong. Old Mother Soulless was extremely angry. You have been deceived once by that Purple Thunder monster, and now you want to be deceived twice. Lowly girl, why do you not understand that the Purple Thunder monster has exploited you? He did not exploit me. 11 You knocked her head against the floor, leaving blood. Shiyu asks Mother to help. Help? The Devil Star Palace is being forceful. How would you have this sect explain to them? Shameful. Old Mother Soulless knuckles were white, her fury springing from the heart. Mother, calm. The surrounding supercluster ancestors hastily soothed her. An ancestor shouted, Shiyu, why do you persist in the wrong ways? Quickly apologize to Mother. Even if Shiyu dies, she will not marry anyone else. Shiyu lowered her head and did not raise it. Shameful. That ancestor sent Shiyu flying with a palm. The girl slammed into a pillar and nearly lost consciousness. Shiyu was already injured at the Bright Moon Longevity Palace. Not having recovered yet, this impact made her vomit blood, staining her clothes red. The other ancestors were slightly disturbed, but in the end, they still restrained their impulses. They looked at Shiyu. Disappointment, confusion, fury, they all could not understand how the Water Illusion Fairy could have been bewitched by the Purple Thunder monster, to surprisingly be confused to this degree. Mother's kindness is like the mountains, Shiyu does not dare forget, but the dual cultivation art, 11 You absolutely will not agree. Shiyu said resolutely, not compromising at all. This nearly drove Old Mother Soulless mad. Elder sister Shiyu, just agree. Lan Tianyu wept. Shiyu shook her head. This is beyond you. Old Mother Soulless slapped a table into splinters. Lock Shiyu in Black Flame Mountain. 3. Mother, please reconsider. Lan Tianyu shouted. Black Flame Mountain was the volcano under the Illusion Reality sect. Its terrain was poor, its array strange. If you dare plead for her, you will be locked in as well. Shiyu's face paled. It was a pity she was powerless to resist. When she was dragged away, her heart only worried about the longevity steel matter. By the time Shiyu was taken away, Old Mother's soulless face was full of wrath. How could this sect raise such an ignorant star master, to have been tricked into nearly losing her life by the Purple Thunder monster, to surprisingly even keep him constantly in her mind? Just what kind of person is that Purple Thunder monster? I heard that before Great Saint Starkiller died, his star general Great Blade Guaning was seduced by the Purple Thunder monster. Someone said. Old Mother Soulless twitched. Everyone. Go inform Devil Star Palace and say that the Water Illusion Fairy has been captured. Have Holy Lord of Draconic Demon come. Old Mother Soulless took a deep breath. Ah, Lady Mother, could it be? With things as they are, it is too late to change anything. At that time, Shiyu naturally will understand that what this sect has done was with her in mind. Shiyu definitely will understand. If only that were so. The Black Turtle Territory's Star Master powers was an alliance of 1 Devil Palace and 4 halls. Among them, the Devil Star Palace was the leader. The other sects served it, and Shiyu's Illusion Reality sect was one of those. If it was before she had met Su Xing, Shiyu would have followed Great Saint Starkiller blindly. However, that day in Black Turtle Temple when Shiyu made public she was following the Purple Thunder monster gave the Black Turtle Territory a big shock. Su Xing worried for Shiyu and used the jade pendant to very quickly appear in the Black Turtle Territory. Then, he rushed without stop to the Illusion Reality sect because he did not know where 11U's Immortal's abode was opened at. Su Xing could only go to the Illusion Reality sect to ask. Generally, Star Master's Immortal's abodes were unmistakably inside their sections. Regarding 11U, Su Xing's heart actually was considerably complex. As the first woman who had the courage to confess her love to Su Xing, this kind of feeling was very sudden, so much so that it made Su Xing somewhat wonder how to handle this. To say that she had passion as intense as Lin Yingmei's, no one would believe it. Su Xing originally felt that he himself was a bit fickle in love, but when he faced Shiyu, he nevertheless felt something was missing. He wondered about that disorderly complexity or those baffling feelings, but in short, regarding Shiyu's position, Su Xing treated her as a dear friend. As for what came after, let nature run its course, then. Although he thought this, Su Xing still used several moments of time to rush to the gate of the Illusion Reality sect from the Azure Dragon territory. Su Xing had hardly mentioned his name when a young woman in blue silk shouted in shock. "You are the Purple Thunder monster that elder sister Shiyu insists on marrying? Quickly, quickly go save elder sister." What? You're tuning into the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.